All right, welcome in. It's time for Total Bases. Tokyo Brandon will be back tomorrow, but today you've got myself, Brian Leonard, and we're going to be talking Game 3 of the ALCS Jays Mariners. Brian, I want to throw this to you because this is very interesting to me, and I didn't think we would be in this predicament right now going into the respective Game 3s. We did not have a home team win a game in the first two. So home teams right now in the LCS round are 0-4. You don't see that very often. Is that making it as challenging for you as it is for me to come up with like where these series are going to go from here?
Yeah, it's strange. Ralph Michaels was nice enough to send something over in the Slack. He's got some numbers. It's small sample sizes, but the home teams in Game 3 after sweeping on the road have been pretty good. So we could see more of the teams that are ahead winning. And if a team gets up 3-0, I usually expect the team the team that loses, especially in the NBA. I use a lot of it where they don't have the heart and they don't want to have to go and play another game again. It kind of knocks them out. So this is a key game for both of these teams, both of these series. I thought this Milwaukee team. I like the way they're set up, but the Dodgers just show you how starting pitching is so important that you can have guys. I mean, the bullpen, the Dodgers have struggled with their bullpen all year long. And in these series lately, the Dodgers don't even need the bullpen. They got these starters going all game. And it's, I'd hate to say it, but the coach has done some good jobs keeping those starters in there for the Dodgers. And I'm not a big fan of his. And, in the other series too, Seattle's, if you ask anybody who the best pitching staff is when they're healthy in the American League, that's Seattle. So if you're a big starting pitcher fan, these are the two teams you probably expected to be up 2-0 at this point. I do want to point out for the park factors, the home runs today are supposed to be down 10% from a normal T-Mobile Park game, doubles and triples down 8, singles down 1, and runs down 7. So it's going to be tough to score some runs in this game if you're looking for the over. We got Bieber going against Kirby here, and I'll just get into my analysis on the game, and we'll let you pick it up from there. But Kirby's maybe about a 125 favorite here with a total of 7, slightly to the over. At least from what I remember, Seattle's hit much better on the road than they had at home. Toronto hits pretty well at home, and they've done pretty well on the road. But the key in this game to me is the starting pitching. Shane Bieber, love the guy. He was great for Cleveland. Just terrific guy. He's only 30 years old, and he's had a terrific career already in 8 seasons. But, if you take a look at just his numbers, the 3.57 ERA, 1.02 whip, you would think, oh, this is the same old Bieber, but his expected ERA, 4.57. And although he's only thrown 40 1/3 innings on the season, so not enough for a lot of the StatCast numbers to verify it a little bit. Fastball velocity 23rd percentile, average exit velocity has been bad, barrel rate's been bad, hard hit rate's been bad. Throws 5 pitches, the most is his 4-seamer, 36%, but the normal righty throws at 95 miles an hour. His is 92.6. So I hope, for Toronto's sake, and I hope for Bieber's sake, that he will be better with the off season and be back stronger next year. But right now, he's not a guy I feel confident on throwing out there and putting my money on in a game that they need to win. I talked about that. They can't go down 0-3. Not too many teams come back from that unless the Red Sox against the Yankees, I believe, a few years ago. But George Kirby, another guy that's had some injuries this year, only threw 126 innings after 191 basically each of the last 2 years. His ERA is a little high at 4.21, expected 3.85, whip 1.19. All those numbers are more higher than they've been in the last few years, but he came back from injury, and they brought him back early, struggled early, but he's pitching pretty well right now. Still, his average exit velocity in the 14th percentile, hard hit rate 21st, and barrel 47th, mean that he can be hit. But I think he's pitching a lot better now than he has in the past. He's excellent at walks, 89th percentile, fastball velocity 80th, throws 6 pitches. If I take a look at this game, I don't want to play the under because I'm a little worried about Bieber. And you're getting a 7. And there's not too many games that Toronto has played this year with a 7 total. I think Toronto's offense is better than what they have shown. Seattle's been really good offensively for a while now. If I play this game, and I did sit out yesterday, I didn't have anything. I said that I just didn't get enough on Milwaukee. I thought it was we talked about LA being the best team in baseball. I just didn't quite get enough. And I was kind of worried about the starting pitcher from Milwaukee. And that's the way I feel about Toronto today. So if I play this one, I'm going to play the over.
I agree with that. I think that's the same way I would look here. I wish I sat out yesterday. I talked myself into the Brewers, and before I get into my breakdown of this game, I want to comment on a couple of things. So one, going back to your point, yesterday's game, part of my angle, part of my handicap was, if the Brewers can get to the late innings sort of tied or in the lead, that I think their edge is against the Dodgers bullpen. We never saw the Dodgers bullpen, which was surprising to me. Listen, it was a dream start for the Brewers. You had a clean top of the first. You come out and the first batter goes yard. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, this is great. This is exactly how I wanted this game to start. And Yamamoto cruises the rest of the game, complete game. So really just the only takeaway there for me is kind of where you were at. Dodgers look really good. And I think if there was a team that's going to get back into the series, it's more likely this one. If there was a way to, Brewers might be up against it going on the road to LA, but we'll see. I want to, the other comment I wanted to make before I get into breaking down this game, much different than NHL and NBA, is baseball series. Like every day is still, in my opinion, a new day. There's new pitching. There's new nuance when it comes to pitchers that are available, or how a team wants to go from starter to relievers. It is far more likely, in my opinion, that a baseball series can flip very quickly, as opposed to, like, if I'm watching NBA, and I'm not an NBA guy and I'm not an NHL guy, so I watch them as a casual fan, and like LeBron and whoever are just beating someone's face in for 3 straight games. To me, it's like that fourth game's, even if they like take one off, it's okay. If maybe it doesn't happen in game 4, game 5's usually going that way. It's probably not going to be a series. I would not, like baseball, I wouldn't look at it like that, because again, it's a new day. You have new starting pitchers. If one of these games goes a certain way, then the next day is a new day as well. And you have new starting pitchers. And it's like, so I don't think that either of these teams are done per se. But when I look at the matchup, and now we'll go back into this game, I'm kind of with you. I don't really want Bieber. That's not where I necessarily want to go here. I played against him in the last round. I didn't think he looked good. So again, both of these guys have had to work around injuries in this season, but Bieber was far more. It was a far bigger injury. It was a far. I think he had to essentially, he missed all of last year, rehabbed at the beginning of this year. I know he was up here in Buffalo for over a month. It was a very extended rehab. And so, like he had that like sort of good run. See, this is where you have to like really, everything's a case by case basis. Shane Bieber pitched 40 1/3 innings in Major League Baseball this season. That's in the MLB. So he obviously pitched probably more than that when you count all of his rehab starts together. He probably had another 40 plus in the minors. But he came into Major League Baseball essentially in August, when it was his April, right? It was his April 1. It was his opening day. Everyone else is out here dragging because it's the dog days. And he's literally starting his season in August. So I look at the regular season Bieber, 1.02 whip, a 3.57 ERA. That stretch that he had was really that was really good. And I asked myself, if he had 4 more months of the season, would his numbers look like that? And I can pretty confidently say they would not. Like, there's no way, if he had another 4 months of the regular season this year, that he's got a whip that's essentially 1. So basically you're saying that his whip's the same as Yamamoto's whip, right? Like, that's because that's right. Yamamoto came in Regular season whip 0.99, Bieber's 1.02. Very deceiving. I think if you give Bieber, so I'm just going to use the two pitchers that threw yesterday as a baseline. Both threw about 170 innings this year. I think if you gave him another 130 innings in the big leagues this year, that's probably more like 1.3, 1.25, 1.3, something like that. You're going to see that ERA is probably a little bit over 4. That's what I think. That's where I think he's kind of at right now in terms of like the pitcher. He's probably is the rest of it. Like you said, he's 30 years old. I mean, he's been around for a while, comes off of a huge injury. I'm not saying he can't have a big year at some point, but everything I've seen in terms of like, I watched every one of his starts at Buffalo, watching him really like the closest in the playoffs so far. That just doesn't inspire a ton of confidence going on the road. Now, you could say a lot of those things about George Kirby as well, having to work around, a mid-season injury, coming back. His command hasn't been there. To your point, Brian, exit velo, hard hit. I think it's because his command's not fully there. So it's like when he's missing because he just hasn't had the feel that he had, let's say last year, when he threw 100, last 2 years, 2023, 2024, 191 innings, both years essentially, whip in the low one, like 1.04, 1.07. Elite command, top of his game. When you have to come back from an injury mid-season, like sometimes you need an off season, right? And so that's kind of how I've looked at Kirby this year. Now, to your point, go back to September 14th, 14 strikeout game against the Angels. Since then, 6 innings, 6 scoreless, 7 strikeouts against the Astros. 5 innings, 10 Ks against the Dodgers. And then he was pretty respectable in his 2 appearances against the Tigers. You had both were only 5 innings. So he didn't work super deep into either. 3 earned runs, 14 strikeouts. If I'm going to pick a side, I think it's probably going to have to be Kirby and the Mariners. But I think I'm with you. I think over 7 is light. I know we saw some fly balls in that Tiger series that didn't leave the yard. I wonder if that's creeping into people's minds where it's like, yeah, T-Mobile's a tough park to hit the ball out of. I don't think that necessarily means there's going to be a shortage of offense here. So, Brian, I think I'm with you. I think we have a little consensus play here for Game 3. I like over 7 as well.
Yeah, a couple things. Number one, when I go back to talking about teams 3-0 or whatever, it makes more sense that in hockey and in the NBA, it would be tougher to do because they're physical sports, especially hockey. I mean, these guys, if you follow hockey, they're tough as hell. And in baseball, it's more of a finesse sport, and they obviously play twice as many games. So the players in the NBA could not play 162 games, and in hockey, obviously not either. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, when we were talking about the Brewers game, and I hate to keep going back on this, I didn't even give my clients a yes or no if I was having to play till late because I wanted to see if Smith was going for the Dodgers. And as soon as I saw that he was going, I said I was passing. That's the thing with the Dodgers is not only do they have a guy that throws out the base runners, which is what Milwaukee does. That's a big part of Milwaukee's game. They also have starters that are elite starters going deep. So if you're getting 1-3 hits, I mean, it takes Milwaukee completely out of their game. That's the way to beat Milwaukee is a great pitching and the situation where you've got a catcher and there's a few of them out there that you just don't run on. And that's really why Milwaukee was such a bad matchup going against the Dodgers. If Milwaukee was playing another team, I think Milwaukee have a very good chance to beat them. But the Dodgers were a 2-1 favorite going into the series for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I again, there wasn't, and that's probably why I'm still kicking myself for yesterday. There wasn't any question to me that the Dodgers were the best of these 4 teams. We talked about that really last series. And then prior to Game 1, like I think you and I kind of agreed that was from a talent standpoint, they were far superior. I mean, I literally am willing to say far superior than the 3 teams remaining. I have to say, I thought the Brewers, even with that talent discrepancy, just the way that they're built, would have made this a more competitive series. Now, again, don't write the Brewers off just because they've lost 2 games. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of baseball. And we'll talk about that when Tokyo Brandon is back tomorrow, and we've got starters and we've got a number on the game. But like these series could totally turn around. All it takes is one game. However, it's interesting that we had four home teams or four games, and the home team did not win a single game, especially in the case of the Blue Jays. That, the Brewers were underdogs in both of their games, but the Blue Jays not winning one of those, going to really be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. I think I'm with you though, Brian. If I get there with a side, it's probably Seattle. If, let's say, the series would split 1-1, I think I'd be more inclined maybe to go with Seattle, even though that might be flawed thinking here.
I think I agree with you on that. Mark always uses the fat and happy thing. Well, Seattle's coming back. I like the way they looked after the game, and especially when the big dumper got his interview, he goes, "Hey," he's got the shirt on, says we haven't done anything yet, that kind of thing. I like that. But if a team comes back 1-1 and they got an hour at home, I would give the home advantage a little bit better in that regard. With 2-0, I understand that. Yeah.
I still want to get you guys involved in the chat. I know it's right now, we're getting to the point in the season where it's one game. The show is shorter. And I forget that I still want to sort of I want to get the chat involved. David Edgington says Brewers have no offense. I feel like I'm going to push back on that a little bit. Do they have no offense, or did they just face two of the best starting pitchers in the majors that threw 17 innings and essentially of like 1-run ball? Brian Leonard, what do you respond
I agree.
to that?
Well, the part of the Brewers aren't going to knock you around with the home runs like the Seattle will or the Yankees or the Dodgers, but they run the bases very well, and you can't run the bases if you don't get on base. And that's all there is to it. And that's a big part of their game, is their defense and running the bases. And when you take that away, the Dodgers have done it well. And like I said, this is probably the worst matchup for them. If they played a team that didn't have such dominant starting pitching, the Brewers are a great team. There's no doubt about it. You don't finish the season with the best record in baseball without having some success.
Queen Rocks 1341 says Toronto doesn't strike out much. That is true. That being said, George Kirby's been racking up the strikeouts. I think that's a very interesting matchup here, because he's been getting a lot of swing and miss lately. And when he's getting swing and miss, that's like when I see George Kirby have a 10 strikeout game, an 8 strikeout game, 7 strikeouts. I think we pointed out the numbers across the 2 games in the Tigers series. That tells me he's starting to get back toward the guy that for 2 straight full years, 2023, 2024, had a 1 whip as a starter. So like, I guess what I'm looking at, in terms of like upside here, I think it's far more likely that Kirby throws a gem than it is Bieber. Like, if I'm just trying to add some, and that's why I think I lean Mariners, because I just think the upside of Kirby here is far greater. And their bullpen is better. I don't care. Like the Blue Jays had a 5 bullpen ERA since Jimmy Garcia went down on July 2nd. The Yankees couldn't make them pay, but Brian, the Mariners look like they're capable of doing that.
Well, since you like the over and you think Kirby's going to have a little bit more success and you're worried about Bieber, how about maybe Seattle team total over? Something else to take a look at. Makes a lot of sense here, because when you get the total that low, that's something that can be easily covered.
Yeah, and that's a lot of sites are it looks like a lot of sites are going to give you 3.5. Juice is somewhat reasonable, -120. Mm-hmm. I see a -125. Obviously, shop around for that. I can't really argue with that. I feel like that's probably, like, for me, Brian, I think that might be I'd probably rather play the team total over with the Mariners than lay -130 with the Mariners on the side. So again, these are just a couple different ways to look at it. But I think I would try to find something that with the over. I think over is probably where the value is in this game based on where it's priced. I think there's way too much stock being put into T-Mobile Park here. Like, just because this game is in Seattle and it is a pitcher-friendly park does not mean there's going to be no offense in this game. That's kind of how I'm looking at Game 3.
I can see it.
Brian, do you have anything to promote for today? Do you have anything up yet?
Yeah, I did lose my football game yesterday. I won my hockey game, and I won my hockey free play, and I passed in baseball. I'm number 2 over the last month in Major League Baseball, number 2 overall in net profit in just sports handicapping overall. And I'm working on. I just saw today that they did confirm that they are doing that weekend promo that they had last week. So I'm excited for that because we did very well. We were 1-2 on Sundays, tiny plays in the NFL, but I believe we were 5-1 on Saturday, and we won the Thursday game or something to that effect. So I'm getting ready to put up my my college football plays for today, and I'm really excited about the weekend. I'm doing the puck time today over with Andrew and Carmine. That'll be at 8 o'clock here Pacific, 11 Eastern. So looking forward to that. But yeah, it's been a good run. Unfortunately, I did lose the college football play yesterday, but it was a no-show for Western Kentucky, and it was ugly. And it's going to happen once in a while. You bet enough, you're going to get one of those out there. So unfortunately, that happened yesterday. But hey, overall, did pretty well.
I have no plays up for today. I don't know that I will, so I'll I have to. Jake, this is a great comment. Jake, he goes, Trig, you have to remember that in 2000 when the Doosan Bears were down 0-3 and forced a game 7, only to have the Hyundai Unicorns pull off the win to stop a comeback. Just year 2000 KBO. I couldn't have told you who was in the league at that point. However, I'm still very invested in the KBO. We now have the semifinal series is set. So no KBO for a couple of days. They will resume play, I believe, on Friday. What's Friday morning for us? Samsung, Hanwha. Probably see Cody Ponce out there against most likely maybe Ariel Jurado. A couple of former MLB guys going at it in that one. That should be a great series, and I'll have KBO plays up. The one thing I will promote, since I don't have any picks to sell right now, is the fact that we're going to be doing this show, meaning this format, for college basketball, except it's going to be called Full Court Press, another name that I made up, and I think is good. And it's going to be myself, Rob Vino, and Brian Power. So time slot is going to be similar. I think we're starting 1 hour later. So I believe it'll be 10 a.m. live as opposed to 9 a.m. live, just trying to fit in the programming schedule that WagerTalk has. So I think they want to put it in the 10 a.m. time slot, and we'll go 5 days a week. And I'm over here looking at my Savant pages, Brian. I see George Kirby from Elon University. I see Shane Bieber from UC Santa Barbara, and I'm instantly fired up for college basketball. And so we should have a nice seamless transition here for the most part. We're going to do the baseball show right through the World Series. And then I believe it's November 3rd, whatever that first Monday in November is, November 3rd. We're hitting the ground running 5 days a week. College basketball, it'll be myself, Brian Power, Rob Bino, and who knows, maybe Brian Leonard will jump in if one of those guys needs a day off at some point.
Yeah, I've had a lot of success in college basketball, but I can't talk college basketball like you guys do. I can talk baseball at the back of my hand. I'm on the hockey show. I've had a lot of success in hockey. I can't talk hockey like the Canadians on the show have been watching their entire lives, So I don't make many appearances on shows like that. But yeah, I've had success in it. The one thing that's really struggled with for me is the NFL the last couple of years, and who knows? Maybe it's just too hard for me. I don't know.
Listen, I'll harp on this. It is I don't, and again, this will probably, I don't understand how you're an expert at like 5 different things. It just doesn't make sense.
Hard to do. Yeah.
To me, I can't possibly and I'll just even say it. I can't possibly do something else if I'm trying to do baseball at the level that I feel like it should be done, and then college basketball, I really can't do anything else. That's why, football, I'll dip my right now. I mean, I'm hot in the NFL, and I feel like the NFL though, Brian, is I don't think anyone has a huge edge on the NFL these days, but it's we can all kind of crunch numbers quickly. And so for me, I'm just not going to ask questions right now. The NFL players are winning. I'm going to keep putting them out if they're winning. My tune will change drastically if one or two loses. Like I'm just not going to be like firing huge NFL volume. As far as college football is concerned, like, again, I don't know how you do all these different things. Like for me, I've only put I can tell you right here. It's right here on my list. I've put 14 college football plays out this year. And really they're coming from the relationships I've made when I'm traveling around through college basketball. Once in a while, I'll get a little insight and I'm like, yeah, that's worth a bet. But yeah, it is. So I don't blame you one bit. Like if you're locked into the NHL, which I think is where you should be because you're very good at it. And as we talked yesterday, it's a beatable market. Yeah, that's where you should be. So I don't blame you one bit.
Yeah, I think in the NFL, the way to beat it anymore is pay special attention to any injuries that are happening in game and make your judgments on that and try to get ahead of the injury. Because there's many times, they have now, I know we're extending the show, but they have doctors who have seen the way the guy's going off the field and grabbing certain places. And he goes, that's probably this. And he's going to miss 5 weeks or whatever. Those guys will say it before the teams will come out and say it. And if you're tuned into that kind of thing, you can kind of get ahead of the line a little bit. In the NFL, I've always been a numbers guy. If I watch the team play and I think they're the better team and the line's 2.5, I think it's going to 3. I grab the 2.5. One of those kind of things. It's simple. And that hasn't worked as well for at least for me lately. And now with teasers, you can't. I can't say you can't play a teaser, but when I used to play it, it's a 6.2 team teasers plus 100. Then it went to minus 110. Then it went to minus 120. Now they're charging 135. I'm not going to give my client a 135 teaser. It's just not worth playing anymore. But other people feel differently. So, but yeah, I can't do
that. Before we get off the show, just because we jokingly ragged on Kelly for not liking baseball the other day. So I got to give Kelly props before I get off the show. One of the best things, and this was, I think, before I even started at WagerTalk. So you're probably talking like 5-6 years ago at this point. I think I came in, I just got on Sportsmemo and I put a couple plays up. And so she's I think I lost one and it was like Bayern Munich or something. And she's like, what is this? I was like, oh, it's a soccer play. I think I put, it was a Champions League game. She goes, no. She's like, you don't bet soccer. She's like, you just don't, like, what are you doing? Why are you, she's like, you got karma, like all like, what are you like, is that what you want to do? And I was like, no, I guess you're right. I killed. I was like, no, you know what? You're right. Why am I messing around with that? And then I kind of like, I think I had an NHL play in the playoffs and I was like, wait a minute. What am I doing putting like actual units at risk? Even if I think I have, like, I don't grind this out 24/7, 365. So like, that's made me much better. Like in my opinion, I mean, I think everyone should do that. I'll say that. I think anyone in this that's doing what we're doing could benefit from like just being like, you know what? I'm not an NBA guy. Just accept it. My edge is in. McKinnis has done a great job at this, by the way. Shout out to Andrew McKinnis. Before we get off, I'll promote his show. He's I think he's done a great job in like leaning into NHL, CFL, and I know he's having a really good year because of it. And I know he's got a new show, and I think he does. You've done his new show, right? I
have not, but I've watched it, and it's a little tough. It's like yesterday, he was late because Montreal went to overtime, and it's hard to talk about the lines because last night, I'm on the show today. I had to send them over what game I was going to talk about last night, and there was only a couple places that had lines, so I really didn't know where the value was. So that makes it a little tough. But Andrew and Carmine and even Prez, and I give Prez a lot of shit, but he knows hockey much better than I do. But I know how to handicap, and that's what's kept me ahead. It's it's not that I'm a fan of these sports, although I kind of am, but I don't need to watch every game. I have other things I can look at to point me towards some value. And everything I do, I've got power ratings, and if it's in my power ratings, and there's value, I bet it.
Jersey Tugging says, "Is this your only job?" Yeah, this is it. I believe it or not, there's a lot of prep that goes into even coming on for 30 minutes or doing an hour college basketball show. I got a call coming up with Rob Vino, Brian Power, who are like, this is a lot of work right here. And I'm just like, yeah, it is. Buckle up. 364 Division I college teams, and the chat's going to be asking questions about Sam Houston State. Someone better have something to say. So, but anyway, we just hanging out with you for a little bit today. We only had one game. Tomorrow we will have the star of the show will be back. Tokyo Brandon. He's back tomorrow to talk Dodgers Brewers game 3. Another great example of just like sticking to what he knows and crushing it. I mean, he might be the best example of anyone. He's constantly at the top, and it's because he's hammering away at markets that he just knows better than the books. So shout out to TB, and we'll be back in the morning. More total basis, 9 a.m. Eastern. Good luck if you decide to get involved with the game tonight. Obviously, check out our pages. Check out the free picks page at WagerTalk. And if you have an extra second or two, head on over to the replay, drop us a comment, maybe a like and a subscribe. We want to finish strong this year. So who knows? Maybe we'll come back next year and they'll give us graphics. Like Brian Powers got those great graphics.
How about a producer?
Yeah, or a producer or something like that. But yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in right till the end. I know it's football season, but we had about 600 on the live here. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys in the morning.
We're over here talking behind the scenes. This is KIV and Crack. That's pretty much what we do. We BS way behind the scenes, and then we hit record. Come hang out with you guys each and every Monday afternoon on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Bill Krackomberger, we're going to start taking questions from the audience.
Oh,
going
good.
forward.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Our first couple weeks, we were way heavy Survivor. We had lots to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
The Cardinals and Rams just destroyed us. This week, there was essentially no bloodshed unless you took the Eagles on Thursday night.
Yeah.
I have one over on Splash, has 223 entries, $500 a piece. Not a single person got eliminated. I'm going,
wow.
You're kidding me. Not a
No one had the Eagles? Wow.
Double pick. No one had the Eagles.
Wow.
I should say no one had the Eagles because 34 people had the Eagles. Very first, before the sign up hit.
Right.
And it was like maybe at 40%. I tweeted, I said, guys, you do the math, but there's like over $20,000 in dead money, or not quite. I think it was like somewhere roughly around there. So then boom, before I woke up the next morning, that contest filled, because when you have dead money in a contest like that, it's going to generate a lot of people, right? Especially when it's already guaranteed, it's going to generate a lot of signups. So as those people got eliminated with the Eagles, everybody else survived in advance. I took the Packers and the Colts, little sweaty there with the Colts, but they got it done. Talk to me about anything. Do you rejoin any survivors? If Vegas had one, would you say, all right, I'm going to march right back up there with another $100,000 to do like a mid-season grandissimo?
2 years ago, I jumped in and I bought a piece of a team, and we actually did. We actually got to the end there, and my little $2,000 investment got me back $45,000. So that was pretty good.
Huh.
But last year, though, the exact opposite. I went in a couple different times, and I blew almost, not what exactly what I won, almost what I won though last year. And yes, I will. Now I do have a piece of a team here, which we had Green Bay, and so we did go on here, but chances are very slim that you go on here with one entry. But hey, they always say a chip in a chair. I will look to get back in. Believe it or not, someone last week offered me to get back in Grandissimo, which I've lost last week with Arizona. And I just tried to give them face value minus taxes, which was around $30,000.
I was going to say, what is the implied
last week was
value?
40. It was like $42,000, and I took out the 30% in taxes.
Okay.
Which I said, listen, it's going to be this amount, and they take it right out. So people don't realize that. So you don't just go up to the counter and they give you a 6.9 million. Here's a check. No, they take your taxes out. The government, Big Brother, has to get their cut first. So, usually when you show up with $30,000 and nice $10,000 bricks to somebody, they're like, oh, okay. I was getting 10%. I was trying to get 10%. They turned me down on that, but that's okay because.
So that's implying that their $100,000 entry is worth about $300,000, correct?
That's after taxes.
Okay.
It's worth more. It's worth a little bit more. It's worth like $320 now.
Okay.
I think one person got knocked out with the Eagles, or somebody got out of the Grandissimo. So I'm looking to get back into that because it's a little bit. There's only 15 people in there. It's a little easier, obviously, than the big Survivor. But then again, the Survivor, to get back in that, you're going to pay a lot less money. So I get it. There's a lot of they have these marketplaces, or if you know someone, but sometimes, Kelly, you got to get a lawyer involved. You have to get a lawyer involved because you're talking so much money. You can't just say I bought a piece.
Well, that's what you have to remember, right? You can have a contract, you can have it notarized, you can have all of these pieces in play, but to the casino, you are not the owner of said entry.
They're not gonna.
You got to be real careful. You got to be real careful. I mean, I will say this. I can share this story, and I'll just keep it very light. When I had the proxy service, one guy would come out and sign up for 9 of his buddies, but the entry was only under one guy. That saved everybody the trip to Vegas. You pay the proxy fee divided by 10. Everybody's got their own entry. You put your picks in every week for yourself. Guess what? You win. Your buddy is the guy who has to fly to Vegas with you. And he's standing there with his hand out going, remember when I flew to Vegas and signed up with you? And guess what? that check is going to him. That is in
Yes.
his name, no matter
Yes.
what. Now, granted, the casino will work with you. I know the Westgate, if you and I said, hey, write half the check to Crack, half the check to me after taxes, they would.
They would. Yeah.
But the entry can only be underneath one of our names.
Correct. And, this is anyone that knows the poker world. They know this happened with Jamie Gold years ago. He had partners, and when he won the main event World Series of Poker, it wound up going to court. Good thing the person had their text messages and communications. Jamie wasn't paying them, so it's an interesting. There might have been reasons. I'm not going against Jamie. I'm just saying that this was a good example of something, though. So money makes people do things they know they shouldn't do. So I have dealt with partners in my past many times that have jumped over $100 bill to steal $1. It's amazing. And I know you guys know that also. Brett for sure knows that. It was just the business that I was in. Kel, I'm not in the business of meeting any street people anymore or dealing with any local books. None of them pay. I hate to say it like that. I'm not trying to say that you're going to be stiffed, by the way, if you're watching this show. I'm sure you have a good local guy. I'm sure you have a good relationship over time, and you know this and that. But they're not going to pay me. They're not going to pay.
Well, eventually, right? They may at first. It may be an eventual relationship, but I'm sure those guys on the other end can eventually someone's getting stiffed, and it is not a fun place to be in.
There's so many reasons why, and I don't know if I mentioned it on this platform before. I'm sorry if I'm going to be repetitive. These PPH sites, these paperhead sites, they're everywhere now. So every swinging dick is a bookmaker now. It's unbelievable. So I usually don't curse. I don't curse on any shows unless Kelly in Vegas is on there. Now you tell me how.
And I never curse on these shows. The only show I curse on is Kelly and Murray because I know I can get away with it.
But just being around you for almost 2 decades, you just
I got a potty mouth. I think it's pretty well known.
Yeah.
That's common knowledge.
I don't mean to say it like that, but seriously, go to a poker game, sit down, and sure enough, you're going to find a 25-year-old kid that thinks he's a bookmaker, and he has PPH accounts because he sent some money offshore to get some accounts for $10 a head or $5 a head, and they'll say, "Oh, I could book you this and that." And what happens in the end? I just know what happens. They're not going to pay someone like me. Now, I say someone like me. I'm betting proposition bets. I'm not betting a lot of NFL on Sundays, but I have learned in time that you should bet NFL on Sundays because a bookmaker looks at an account and they say, wow, you got props all week, college football, college basketball, betting maybe some correlated things, betting some teasers if they have the right juice. And now he doesn't bet NFL sides. You should bet NFL sides on Sunday, even if you're just betting -7 with one spot and +7 with another spot. Just losing juice, maybe reduce juice, just to make the account look better. But I know I'm going off on tangents of different things. All I'm saying is
you're just kind of giving a little insight into what you guys have to do to keep your accounts.
It's the opposite. Healthy. It's the opposite of what it was 20 years ago or even 10 years ago. You had to worry about the customers paying. Now you have to worry about the book paying. So, but all these sites that are legal now in the United States too, they're literally pushing people that are the more astute bettors or became astute. They're pushing them back to the offshore world because of like the teaser prices, Kel. You can't find a teaser price under $1.35 on a 6-point teaser. It's the reason why I don't put teasers out there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not, though I do know.
Well, you can't, not to your customers, right?
Yeah.
You just can't. Now, there's a couple places where I'm able to get down some pretty cheap teasers, -110. And I get that, but that's not accessible to 90% of the world. And I tell people this too, and maybe you can attest to this. All you got to do is ask. The other day, I was like, hey, I'm looking for New Jersey governor odds. I wasn't able to get enough down at Bet Online back, in like February. And he goes, no problem. What do you want? And I told him, I don't even know if he checked the current market. I was like, I want this guy plus 350. And then he said, all right, cool. No. And it was just like a handshake deal. We got a text message. It's one of those things where like, if you have a good rapport with some of these guys, right?
Right.
I had a buddy say, hey, look at Jared Goff MVP. So I was kind of searching around, and Hard Rock here in Florida happened to have pretty good odds.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I don't have MVP on any of my other sites, but I'll bet it here. you just got to shop around, and sometimes you just got to ask these guys, and they may open up a market for you. I asked Hard Rock, I said, hey, can you guys open up Premier Lacrosse League? DraftKings has it. FanDuel has it. They said no. I asked my local guy. He said, what do you want? And I said, I'd love to be able to bet nickels and dimes. He goes, fine. No, you should not be letting me bet nickels and dimes in Premier Lacrosse League. But he knows I'm going to bet some jackasses losing baseball that I'm bored on a Saturday afternoon, and that we're going to just get through the grind of the summer. And if you make a customer happy, they're going to stick with you.
Yeah, you bring up a good point about, I just said it on the previous show that I did, Wager Talk today. I just said about a local. If you're dealing with a local, they know of all these big sites that are out there now that have hurt them in their pocket so much. You could have more negotiations with them now than ever before. And what I'm talking about is a rebate on loss. So if you can
rebate, reduce juice, absolutely. Yes. You should absolutely be getting both of those things.
If you can get a 10% hot or cold, if you can get a 10% rebate from your local guy, and you just tell them, hey, I got these, I got this, I got that. I got another guy that offered me 10% or 20%, whatever, maybe start at 20, settle at 10. You should be negotiating with your local guy more than ever right now with all the competition they have, for sure. So there.
Yep.
We
can
go off on anywhere on this show. I like, this is all spontaneous stuff.
No, it really is. I mean, I write down a couple of things that I want to talk to you about, but this was not on my list. This was not on my list, Crack. I do want to talk about one of the things I just heard you say on Wager Talk today earlier. But first, I want to give a big promotion for Crack. He's got a Monday Night Football play up right now. 14 of his last 22 he has hit. He's plus 22 units for the football season this far. $15 tonight on WagerTalk.com. Or if you want a guaranteed pick, it's $23. You can also get on board with Crack. If you want to partner up big, long time term, you buy 2026 for $1,799. You're getting the rest of 2025 for free. That means we're giving you over $1,000 off. That is if you want to partner with Crack for 2026. That is a long-term deal. That's NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, NHL, MLB, soccer, golf, MMA, all of the things that Crack gets down on. 450 days of total access for less than $4 per day. Crack, I had to say that real quick because Johnny always makes sure that I have to promote you because you've been kicking ass. But one thing that I have a bone to pick with you about is you didn't tell me you had Seattle 30-1.
Yeah, well,
30-1.
It was price dependent. I just showed that on the previous show. It was price dependent though. There was 20-1 out, at most of the sports books. And I was surprised that Circa had that 30-1. Yeah, 30-1. There you go, 30-1 Mariners.
And they're up 1-0 right now in the ALCS.
Now here's the reason why I know I'm going to win that. I tried to bet 1,000 on that. They only took 500, so they're going to save 15 grand. But yeah, so I remember I was in Peter Luger's, and I said I tried to. Someone said to me that Seattle is 30-1 at Circa, and it's 20-1. It was 16-1 at one of his sports books. And I said, you know what? I think Seattle has a shot here. So yeah, that's why it's not fair too, Kel. I won't sell.
No, and I wouldn't have got 30-1. Not here.
Like these people. Right. Like I want to tell you something. There's some other companies that I see. They sell games. They say, Utah State, +3, Rivers Sportsbook. Well, that's the one little square sports book that if you have a pulse, you get thrown out of. You want to sell that to a customer when it's 2.5 everywhere else? Listen, I could pad my record easily doing that shit. I don't do none of that. I'm going to give the customers an obtainable line. That's important to me. I don't give them something that's not obtainable. I have to have a couple different sports books, and I'll use the FanDuels, the DraftKings, because that's the one people have them. I mean,
they're national brands.
They're the biggest ones.
If you use Circa, you can bet them in 3 states, right?
Yeah, I can't use Circa. I can't use Westgate. I can't use even ESPN Bet or some of these other ones that are Rivers and stuff. They don't allow people to win. So if you're a winner long term, you're limited to pennies. And I say that at the risk of losing them as sponsors for future shows. Guess what? I'm good. I don't
Yeah,
care.
we're
I'm
good.
a rare person in the space. I don't
Yeah,
care.
I would
very
agree with
good.
that. There's a reason why you and I do a lot of stuff with Circa, with Westgate, with the very reputable books that are going to still take a bet from us. Okay, last question. So when we first started the show, you were telling me, hey, NFL preseason is like one of your favorite times of the year. You guys are able to not only beat the market, manipulate the market, really get ahead of things, and just crush.
Yep.
Basketball season is upon us. Right now we're in NBA preseason. Is that another sport that you're able to do the same thing, or is it's just not a similar comparison?
You know, I've only bet one game. I didn't release it either. But you know, hey, wow! Imagine a person in sports betting media that talks like this. It lost, and I only got one preseason game so far. But you know, the summer league was great. I did really good. I think it was like 8-1 on that. But right now, preseason didn't really do too much. I'm kind of concentrated on college football and stuff, and my guys are in there, and we're sending out games early Monday morning when it's a softer market. But same thing here now. College basketball, like you said, one of my favorite seasons. Like to get ahead of that market. NBA, most of my bets are player props. I'm still trying to find someone that could beat NBA sides long term. I've worked with the sharpest sports betting syndicates in the world. In the world. I mean, I remember Billy years ago, which is Billy Walters. We tried to beat baseball one season. We tried to beat hockey one season. We tried to beat NBA one season. Broke about even on the baseball, but we lost in the other one. That's how hard it is to beat. Now I do know there is an Asian man in the market who I'm not going to say his name. He's a great guy too. I love him. Really good guy. Him, and I'll give the other name, Aaron Redding. They're two sharp guys that I know can. They're going to beat NBA long term, but it's because they have those skill sets of having individual sports books that take large bets, and those guys are really good. But besides those two guys, I really don't know anyone that can beat NBA sides. I think Aaron, even the last couple seasons, I think he even pulled up from NBA sides or bet a little bit of them because it's not the market it once was because of the injury situation, of the lineups, which is totally different.
It's almost
a different game.
Unbettable.
It's a different game.
Crack, you and I talk about CLV, right? I got the Colts -6.5 on Tuesday. I got a text that said Kyler Murray's going to be out. I thought, all right, I'm going to get ahead of this. I like the Colts in this spot anyway. I ended up coming back with 9.5, had a nice 3-point middle, didn't hit, but I'm very glad to still get ahead of those markets with the best of the information. You cannot do that in the NBA. It is damn near impossible. I mean, unless you are in that locker room, whether they decide 5 minutes before tip or not to rest somebody or to rest the entire team, and then the line shifts 12 points. I mean, the Spurs did that forever. It was so frustrating. I think the NBA sides are almost unbettable because you cannot get the best of the information. You might get the best of the number here and there, but getting the best of the information is so impossible these days. Crack, have a great and profitable week. I am excited to get on board with you for college basketball season coming up here in the next couple weeks. As I mentioned, Crack's got to play up for Monday Night Football. Head over to WagerTalk.com and check that out. Crack, any parting words for our audience?
No, just have a great season. It's a great time of the year. Great time of the year to be out here in Vegas or just even back east. You could feel the frost on the pumpkin here. And, you have great time. Basketball, football, Major League
Hockey,
Baseball, World Series, hockey. It's just a great Vegas is a great town to be in, too. Paul McCartney last week. Motley Crue the night before that. Hockey games now. It's really cool. It's a lot of
and it's not 120 degrees. It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful in Vegas right now. I am jealous. Maybe I'll come out for the NFR. I'll let you know. I haven't decided yet. I've kind of went back and forth, but you will be my first text. Guys, again, if you have a question for Crack or we're going to start taking live questions on the show. So drop it in the comment section or tweet to one of us and we'll get you guys answered. Good luck this week. And until next Monday.
One. Two minds are better than one. Steve Merrill, Dan Alexander. That's a dangerous combination. And we have researched
the travel situation here for Rams-Jags Sunday morning in London. I do think there's an edge in this game also from a betting perspective. Full details, free play, free analysis for your Sunday Wembley game. Rams-Jags coming up free right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV. And we've back-to-back winning weeks here for your Sunday 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff. So let's go for a third week in a row. We'll give you a free play winner in a second. And I reference our producer, Dan Alexander, does all the great graphics here for my videos. And he and I were researching the travel for this situation. And I assumed the Rams weren't going back to his hometown of L.A., his new hometown of L.A. But what's interesting is we found out that they're staying in Baltimore all week until Friday. Not quite sure why you would do that. Why not get over sooner, minimize the travel and the distraction? And the Jags are actually doing that. They're leaving Monday, I believe, leaving from Jacksonville. They had a home game loss to Seattle, of course. Rams had a nice road game win in Baltimore. They'd gone from West Coast to East Coast, 3-hour difference. Now they have another 5-hour difference to overcome. I don't think it's a big deal either way. And I do think not having the guys travel right after a game is probably easier on the bodies. They're going to practice at Camden Yards till Friday. So I'm not too worried about it, but I did think it was interesting to see the teams take two different approaches for this London game. And by the way, comment below, what are your thoughts? Travel early or travel later? I probably would have left on Tuesday, split the difference, leave on Tuesday or Wednesday and get acclimated to London and do some sightseeing. These games are a bit random, and we've talked about that the last couple of weeks. So I just kind of handicap them as a clean handicap, and I don't try to guess which team might have more fatigue or be more distracted. And like the Thursday night games, which we've done very well on, by the way, 6-1 heading into this Thursday's free play. By the way, 2-0 the last two Sunday mornings, as I mentioned. So maybe we're onto something. Let's just play the better teams in these games. And that's the Rams in this one. Let's not overthink it. And I feel the price is fair at -3 or less. Open 3 juice, but then early by Monday it was 3 flat. So we're getting a fair line here. And by the way, if you're new to sports betting, the reason I talk about that key number of 3 is on average, NFL favorites are going to win by exactly 3 points in this price range, at least about 9% of the time. So the difference between 3, 3.5 is pretty substantial. And the look-ahead line this summer was briefly 3.5 in some spots. So we're getting some extra value now at -3 or less. And also I'm looking to fade Jacksonville. You know, we faded them 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Football with the Chiefs. I did a free play video for you in that game. Gave you the over as well, which did cash. But I also like Kansas City in that game. And it was feeling pretty good when they were up 14-0. I was a little worried about the over. Hey, but it felt like the side was in play. But yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs found a way to blow it. Did bounce back this past Sunday night. We had a best bet winner for you in both the video and for my actual clients with the Chiefs last Sunday night against the Lions. And I call that a misleading win because I don't feel like the Jags were the better team in that game. And it does look like they were exposed last week at home against Seattle. A really bad offensive effort, scoring just 12 points in that game. And I think that could linger here as they travel because the passing offense is not spot on this year. Huge passing edge for the LA Rams in this one. In fact, the Jags are averaging just 5.9 yards per pass against teams that allow 6.9. And then look at the flip side of that. The Rams throwing for 7.7 yards per pass against teams that give up just 6.5. Jags have been slightly below average pass defense. The Rams' pass defense has been one of the best in the league, just 5.7 yards per pass allowed. Almost a certainty that the Rams are going to win the passing matchup here by a substantial amount. And I don't think Jacksonville is going to overcome with the rushing edge enough to make a difference here. I know it's an international game, but both teams are leaving from the East Coast. Rams are the much better team overall, better defense, and the much better passing attack. And it's pretty much a straight-up win situation at -3 or less. Take a look at the LA Rams. Early Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's at Wembley Stadium in London. Comment below. I read the comments. I reply back. Include some analysis of your time. How are you attacking this game on Sunday? And do you like these London games? There's been some value for us here. Back-to-back free winners for the last couple of weeks. We'll try to make it third in a row here with this game. Don't forget also your Sunday night and Monday night football videos are always posted here. I give you your weeknight college football videos. That Thursday night prime game I talked about that's done quite well the last couple of seasons. 6-1 start this year, over 70% free on Thursday nights last year. We've been dialed in on these Spotlight National TV games, and I try to give them all to you free here on the channel. All I ask is a thumbs up, like, and if you have a couple more seconds, a positive comment below as well. It goes a long way to keeping these videos free and plentiful on WagerTalk TV. Hey, speaking of free, click and subscribe is free. Don't cost nothing. Over 24,000 subscribers. Can't be wrong. Consider clicking the bell as well when you sign up here as a free member on WagerTalk TV as a subscriber. Click the bell as well for an instant alerts. You know, when these videos are all posted throughout the week for the national TV games, the Spotlight games, and most importantly, my Saturday college football free play video with the top 25s and also Sunday's NFL Fade the Public video. Click subscribe, click the bell for instant alerts. Now, if you want to get my official best bets, I give you all the Spotlight national TV games for free here in videos every week. Sometimes, like the Chiefs last Sunday night, they make my card and they become official best bets. But a lot of times they're opinions only. I give them to you here in the videos. I also post bonus free plays on my page that are last cut from the best bet card. But the only way to get my official client best bets, the same games I'm personally using each day, is to be a direct subscriber at WagerTalk.com. And I've got two very special offers. If you've been on the fence, thinking about getting on board, and by the way, use that shortcut you see on the screen, wt.buzz/SM. It gets you there quicker, saves you a couple seconds typing on the internet. But right now, when you go to my page at WagerTalk.com this week, all sports, all access specials, whether you want a short term or a long term. And by the way, it doesn't matter. Every client gets the same best bets I'm personally using. If I have a play, I send it to my clients. Whether you're a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month, a 1 year subscriber, everyone gets the same plays I'm personally using. Same games I've won consistently with since I started over 29 years ago as a full-time professional in August of 1996. Right now, 7-day all access, normally $99, you get it for just $69. Instant $30 discount with the promo code you see on your screen. Week 30, WEEK30, week 30, instant $30 discount on a 1 week all access. And yes, that is all access. It's going to get Major League Baseball playoffs each day that we have a best bet, college and pro football each day. And also basketball is here. Starts this Tuesday night. The NBA is here. So this is a great time to be an all sport, all access. Even the 1 week's going to get you into basketball next week if you time it right. Or if you want to get all sports, including college basketball, all of next year's baseball, rest of this year's college and pro football into next year. Yeah, the 1 year all access is the way to go. Not only does it get every sport every day, but it makes you take a true consistent investment approach, and it gets the cost of investment down to just a couple dollars a play, because I'm giving you an instant $500 discount right now with the 1 year all access, 365-day all access, every sport, every day, instant $500 discount at checkout when you use that promo code you see on your screen. And that is year 500, YEAR 500, year 500. Instant $500 discount on the 1 year all access. So how do you use it? You go to my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. On the right-hand side, you'll see the drop-down menus for all the sports specials. Go to All Sport, All Access. If you choose the 1 week, use week 30. If you choose the 1 year, use year 500, and you'll get those instant discounts at checkout and get my best bets for just a few dollars a day, especially with that 1 year all access. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com to get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. On the way out, follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merrill. You see in the bottom corner of your screen, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV, because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.
Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address for Week 7. I'm Lawrence Presman, and my job to find bets in every single NFL game on the board. It starts Thursday. It ends on Monday. Let's get straight into it. Thursday night's game, Pittsburgh. Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address for Week 7. I'm Lawrence Presman, and my job to find bets in every single NFL game on the board. It starts Thursday. It ends on Monday. Let's get straight into it. Thursday night's game, Pittsburgh playing Cincinnati. Pittsburgh minus 4.5. They're on the road. The Cincinnati Bengals hosting this team. The total is 43. And where am I going here? Well, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. Yep, we're going to start with a dog, a big, beautiful Bengal dog. That is correct. I understand Pittsburgh is coming off of a bye. Does that matter? Not to me. Actually, 49% of all teams since 2015, 49% have covered the spread. Betting teams off of a bye, a slight losing proposition. So I'm not scared. On top of all of that, I don't think this Pittsburgh team is very good. I think offensively they struggle. And I think Green Bay's defense is better than Pittsburgh's. What does that have to do with anything? Well, Cincinnati put up points on Green Bay. I think they're going to get points on Pittsburgh. It's just simply too many points in this game. It's a division matchup. These teams have played each other for years. A lot of these division games are close, regardless of whether one team is much better than the other. The bottom line here, don't overthink this. Take the home team, take the Bengals, take the dog. Cincinnati plus 5.5. Now, before we get into Sunday's game, guys, hit that like button, please. Greatly appreciated. Subscribe to our channel. That would be amazing. Take care of some business. Last week was me and my clients' first losing NFL week of the entire season. That's right. We are 5-1 in weeks. We did go 2-4 for our clients. 2 games we lost by a hook. That is correct. We had over 49.5 in Chicago and Washington. It ended at 49, and we lost the Detroit Lions in a 10-point teaser. We had them at 12.5. They lost by 13. So a 2-4 week that easily could have been 4-2, but for 1 point. But still absolutely dominating this NFL season. It's been an incredible year. Over 58% in all NFL bets, up 15 units of profit. And I am 7-1 in NFL ATS bets for my clients, 7-1, which is incredible. I do have a 5% play up this weekend. You can check it out over at WagerTalk. No promo codes today. Let's just get into the show. Some water for you all. The Rams. They're playing Jacksonville, 9:30 a.m. Sunday. This is another international game. It's at Wembley Stadium. And I don't like much in this game. If I had to bet this game, I would take the dog, Jacksonville +3, and I would take over the total of 45. But honestly, this game is a pass. Las Vegas playing Kansas City, and I don't know how you can bet Kansas City here. Look, I get it. I've been wrong. Kansas City are back. They beat up on the mighty Detroit Lions, and they looked spectacular. I get it. The Las Vegas Raiders, they stink. But they did have a good game last week, if you can call beating Tennessee a good game. I don't care how you do it. You made me money, Vegas, and I'm going to come right back on you again this year this week as a thanks. Just too many points. I understand KC created distance against Detroit. This team hasn't created distance against a lot of teams. Usually they win. I get it, but they don't win by double digits that often. And this Vegas team has played them close every year. I'm just going to take the points, suck it up, pinch my nose, and hope. Las Vegas +12. Miami playing Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland is a favorite. That is correct. You are reading this right. Cleveland is -3 with Dillon at quarterback. You want to punch Miami in the face. You want to insult Miami. You want to humiliate Miami on a grand scale. Make them a dog against Cleveland. And that's what has happened. Yet I can't bet Miami. I don't know how anyone can bet Miami. Total in this game, 40.5. This is a hold your nose and think Cleveland gets it done. Or better yet, just pass and move on to the next game. New England, that's the next game. playing Tennessee. Everything's gone very well for Tennessee since Vrabel was fired. I remember they said, we're going to fire you, Vrabel. Yes, even though you made the playoffs with nobody, even though you have no quarterback, nobody's heard of any of your defensemen, nobody understands, you got a couple of weapons on offense, and you did well. We're going to fire your ass. Then we're going to hire a guy who's never coached before, and then we're going to fire his ass a year and a half later because, well, we don't have a clue what we are doing. So here is Mike Vrabel back with the New England Patriots, a team he probably has tattooed on his tochas. And he's got a quarterback, a real one, in Drake May. And this team just won 2 games in a row. Now, beating New Orleans, not a big deal, but it was a horrible spot against New Orleans. Beating Buffalo on national TV, a statement win. Now they get to play Tennessee. Guess what? Tennessee just fired their coach to hire an even worse coach. Yes, their new coach, Mike blah, who cares, was so horrible for the Chargers that he was let go. And here he is as the interim head coach against the pathetic, lowly Tennessee Titans, hosting a team who is coached by a man who has muscles and is angry. I'm going to take the angry muscle angle, and we're going to take New England for a total freaking blowout. New Orleans playing Chicago. Water again, guys. Sorry about that. This is my 5th show today. New Orleans playing Chicago. Chicago -5, a total of 47. And hats off to the Chicago Bears. 3 wins in a row, 3-2 to start the season. And they looked good against Washington. Not great. Washington actually looked horrible. But Chicago got it done, and that's what matters. Now they play a New Orleans team that I think is horrible as well. They looked okay against New England, but they couldn't get it done. I think New Orleans, this is going to be a big score for me. I think Chicago wins this game handily. I don't want to bet Chicago -5, 5.5. For all you people out there, Brett Hull, there you go. A shout out, my brother, who comes on and yells at me for how much I constantly hate the Chicago Bears. I hate the Chicago pizza. I do not hate the Chicago Bears. I have bet against them a lot over the last 5 years, but go look at their ATS record. Kudos to me. I've made money. I'm going to bet on them this week, and I think it might be the first time in a long while. I think Chicago covers by between 10 and 17 points, take them -5. Philadelphia playing Minnesota. Philadelphia, oh my God. I mean, talk about a team that looks just unorganized, disinterested, badly coached, and on their way down. Sounds like a Philadelphia team from last year and the year before. Yeah, that's right. They've had these moments before, people. You heard it correct. The Super Bowl champs have struggled before. They even struggled on their way to winning the Super Bowl. But now they're playing Carson Wentz, and he's probably pretty bloody angry. In Minnesota, this is a good team at home. The line has been bet down. It was Philadelphia -2, I think, at one point. Now it's -1, a total of 43.5. What do we do in this game? We hold our nose and take the Vikings. I do think Philadelphia will be fine. But every year we see this, there's usually a 3-game period where great teams play bad. We saw it with Kansas City at the beginning of this year. We've seen it with Philadelphia. They might still be in it. I really do like these quarterbacks playing their old team angles. I'm not going to bet this game personally, but I would take Minnesota +1. I know not a lot of totals today, guys. I just can't find any. Carolina playing the New York Jets. Before we get into that game, and this is one of my favorite bets of the week, again, please hit that like button. Make sure to comment. The more you comment, the higher this video goes on the YouTube algorithm. The more thumbs up, the higher the video goes. I read every comment. I try to respond to every comment. Please comment, subscribe, and like these videos. Also, I have a 5% play in NFL on Sunday. Make sure to bet that play. It is my favorite side bet of the week. Maybe you hear it inside of the show and you can figure it out. Kudos to you. It is not the New York Jets. With that said, this is one of my favorite plays of the week. New York Jets +2, and they win They are going to win this game. Okay, first off, they are terrible. Aaron Glenn is in over his head. This team is a nightmare. Garrett Wilson is mad. Everybody is mad. The vibes are wrong. I understand all of that. This team could easily be 4-2. This team could have beaten Denver last week. This team has been in 4 extremely close games that have come down to the end, and the breaks just haven't gone their way. Now they're playing against a Carolina team that just doesn't travel well. I get that Carolina has won their last 2 games, 3 of their last 4, but all 3 of those games were in Carolina. Now they go up to play in New York, and teams do not go winless in the NFL. It has happened. I recall the Detroit Lions did it about 10, 12, 15 years ago, but it has been a long time, and it is not going to happen this year. The New York Jets are going to win a game, and it's likely going to happen this Sunday. This is one of those really bad spots for Carolina. I'm taking the Jets. Forget about the +2. Take them on the money line to win this game outright. Chargers playing Indianapolis. I like the over in this game, guys. It's 48. 75% of the tickets already written on the over, and I do think this might approach 49. But here you have an Indianapolis team that really can't be held down. This team is scoring and is scoring at will. They're putting up big numbers against every team in the league. Their running game is exceptional, and it has set up a beautiful passing game. And as for the Chargers, we already seen this team is struggling slightly on defense, even though I do think their secondary is excellent, but they are allowing points, and they can score, and they can keep up with anybody. Herbert down by 6 with a minute to go in the game. We need that touchdown to cover this over. I think he gets it. I like over 48, and I like the Chargers in this game as well. I think they get it done here too. Next, we talk Denver, -6.5 against the Giants. There are 7s out there, and some book even has a 7.5. So if you want me to tell you how to bet this game, simple. Go to the book with the 7.5, put $1,000 down. Go to the other book with a 6.5 and put $1,000 down. This will cost you $100, but hey, you got about a 12% chance of winning them all, baby. So give that a go, or just bet the New York Giants and hold your nose. This New York Giants team is feeling good about themselves, and they're feeling good about themselves for the first time in 3 years. It looks like they've found themselves a quarterback. I mean, he needs to take the fake diamond necklace off. And yes, it's a fake diamond necklace. If that diamond necklace was real, he would be wearing $20 million of diamonds. He hasn't even made that type of money. So hopefully Dart will get his style, fashion sense correct and remove that ridiculous, gaudy, bonehead necklace of his. I digress. Who cares about his bloody necklace? The bottom line is Denver's not going to create distance on a lot of teams. Great defense, mediocre offense. When Denver is a touchdown favorite and I got another team who's feeling good about themselves and can get points, I'm going to look at that other team, and that's what the Giants are. Would I be blown away if the Giants win this game? Not really, but I'll take the +7. Washington and Dallas. Washington -1, total of 55.5. Guys, I make this easy. I tell you all the time, you bet the lowest totals under, you bet the highest totals over. 55.5 might sound scary. This game will go over that number. And I also like Dallas here. Yes, you heard me right, Dallas. After that loss to Carolina, I like Dallas. Washington is not the same Washington team as they were last year. They're just not. And their weapons are not weaponized. I don't know what's going on. Maybe Daniels' injury is worse than it is. All I know is something is wrong in Washington. Now, I understand that they got a good front 4 and a decent front 7. Dallas scores points, and Dallas scores points at home. If you take Dallas and the over, I say you got like a 30% chance at 2-0, a 20% chance at 0-2, and a 50% chance at 1-1. Worth taking both Dallas and the over. Green Bay, Arizona. This game's a pass for me, guys. I hate to say it. I don't really know how good this Green Bay team actually is. They struggled against Cincinnati. They lost the game to Cleveland this year. And this Arizona team, I don't know what the hell is going on in Arizona, but I'm scared about this Arizona team. Not scared that they're sneaky good, scared that I just don't know whether they're sneaky good or sneaky bad. Scared because they could be undefeated this year with Kyler Murray if they didn't miss kicks, have bad timeout takes, allow defenses and offenses to walk down the field, drop balls before they score touchdowns, intercept balls, and then drop them on the ground and kick them into the end zone for no reason whatsoever. So this is a stay away game. Atlanta, San Francisco. I got to look at Atlanta here, folks, and I'm high on the San Francisco team. I got them in my pocket at plus 150 to win the division. But Atlanta impressed the shit out of me against Buffalo. Their defense is for real. They are fast. And San Fran is too injured to deal with the speed on this Atlanta defense. I would tread carefully here. I don't like to bet San Fran off of a loss, but Atlanta feels like the play. As for Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay and Detroit, don't overthink it. Just take the over and hold your nose. Houston and Seattle, if you can still get a 3, take the Seahawks. This Seahawks team is a lot better than I think they are, and I don't believe in this Houston team, regardless of their insanely lopsided victory against Baltimore. And, of course, they are coming off of a bye, which, as we spoke about, doesn't scare me. That, my friends, is the NFL presidential address. Every game, bets on almost all of them. I think I only passed on a couple. I hope you guys join me this Sunday. I hope you guys are betting my actual client plays in NFL this season. It's been an incredible start to the year. I really am feeling it. Thank you so much for watching the NFL presidential address. I'm Lawrence Pressman, and we will see you next week. Welcome, everybody, to the NFL presidential address for week 7. I'm Lawrence Pressman, and my job to find bets in every single NFL game on the board. It starts Thursday. It ends on Monday. Let's get straight into it. Thursday night's game, Pittsburgh playing Cincinnati. Pittsburgh minus 4.5. They're on the road. The Cincinnati Bengals hosting this team. The total is 43. And where am I going here? Well, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals. Yep, we're going to start with a dog, a big, beautiful Bengal dog. That is correct. I understand Pittsburgh is coming off of a bye. Does that matter? Not to me. Actually, 49% of all teams since 2015, 49% have covered the spread. Betting teams off of a bye, a slight losing proposition. So I'm not scared. On top of all of that, I don't think this Pittsburgh team is very good. I think offensively they struggle. And I think Green Bay's defense is better than Pittsburgh's. What does that have to do with anything? Well, Cincinnati put up points on Green Bay. I think they're going to get points on Pittsburgh. It's just simply too many points in this game. It's a division matchup. These teams have played each other for years. A lot of these division games are close, regardless of whether one team is much better than the other. The bottom line here, don't overthink this. Take the home team, take the Bengals, take the dog. Cincinnati plus 5.5. Now, before we get into Sunday's game, guys, hit that like button, please. Greatly appreciated. Subscribe to our channel. That would be amazing. Take care of some business. Last week was me and my clients' first losing NFL week of the entire season. That's right. We are 5-1 in weeks. We did go 2-4 for our clients. 2 games we lost by a hook. That is correct. We had over 49.5 in Chicago and Washington. It ended at 49, and we lost the Detroit Lions in a 10-point teaser. We had them at 12.5. They lost by 13. So a 2-4 week that easily could have been 4-2, but for 1 point. But still absolutely dominating this NFL season. It's been an incredible year. Over 58% in all NFL bets, up 15 units of profit. And I am 7-1 in NFL ATS bets for my clients, 7-1, which is incredible. I do have a 5% play up this weekend. You can check it out over at WagerTalk. No promo codes today. Let's just get into the show. Some water for you all. The Rams. They're playing Jacksonville, 9:30 a.m. Sunday. This is another international game. It's at Wembley Stadium. And I don't like much in this game. If I had to bet this game, I would take the dog, Jacksonville +3, and I would take over the total of 45. But honestly, This game is a pass. Las Vegas playing Kansas City, and I don't know how you can bet Kansas City here. Look, I get it. I've been wrong. Kansas City are back. They beat up on the mighty Detroit Lions, and they looked spectacular. I get it. The Las Vegas Raiders, they stink, but they did have a good game last week. If you can call beating Tennessee a good game, I don't care how you do it. You made me money, Vegas, and I'm going to come right back on you again this year as this week as a thanks. Just too many points. I understand KC created distance against Detroit. This team hasn't created distance against a lot of teams. Usually they win. I get it, but they don't win by double digits that often. And this Vegas team has played them close every year. I'm just going to take the points, suck it up, pinch my nose, and hope. Las Vegas plus 12. Miami playing Cleveland. Yes, Cleveland is a favorite. That is correct. You are reading this right. Cleveland is -3 with Dillon at quarterback. You want to punch Miami in the face? You want to insult Miami? You want to humiliate Miami on a grand scale? Make them a dog against Cleveland. And that's what has happened. Yet I can't bet Miami. I don't know how anyone can bet Miami. Total in this game, 40.5. This is a hold your nose and think Cleveland gets it done. Or better yet, just pass and move on to the next game. New England, that's the next game. Playing Tennessee. Everything's gone very well for Tennessee since Vrabel was fired. I remember they said, we're going to fire you, Vrabel. Yes, even though you made the playoffs with nobody, even though you have no quarterback, nobody's heard of any of your defensemen, nobody understands, you got a couple of weapons on offense, and you did well. We're going to fire your ass. Then we're going to hire a guy who's never coached before, and then we're going to fire his ass a year and a half later because, well, we don't have a clue what we are doing. So here is Mike Vrabel back with the New England Patriots, a team he probably has tattooed on his tochas. And he's got a quarterback, a real one in Drake May. And this team just won 2 games in a row. Now, beating New Orleans, not a big deal, but it was a horrible spot against New Orleans. Beating Buffalo on national TV, a statement win. Now they get to play Tennessee. Guess what? Tennessee just fired their coach to hire an even worse coach. Yes, their new coach, Mike blah, who cares, was so horrible for the Chargers that he was let go. And here he is as the interim head coach against
Thursday night football on Prime. 6-1 in your free Thursday night games this year, or free plays rather. We gave you a side and total in week 2, so we've given you 7 of them, gone 6-1 overall. But we did miss last week. That 6-0 streak ended 6-1 now. Hey, look, we're going to try to make it 7-1. Free play in this Steelers-Bengals game with analysis coming up right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, and we've got a AFC battle here, AFC North battle on Thursday night in Cincinnati, and I'm wearing my orange Wager Talk logo here, and I thought maybe Joe Flacco would be on WagerTalk.com by now because he's been jumping around everywhere football-related that has orange. The Browns and now the Bengals. He played the Packers twice in 3 weeks with 2 different teams, and now he's playing Aaron Rodgers not on the Packers. I'm totally confused. I feel like I'm in a time warp, but that's what we've got here. Flacco against Rodgers, 2 Super Bowl champs. And I actually like the over in this game. And it's not because I think Flacco's anything special. And I think Rodgers is also on the back end of his career. But I like the matchup here. And I do think that the Bengals are going to get a bump with Flacco. He was pretty bad at Cincinnati. There's no question about it. But the Browns are a pretty bad offensive team no matter who's behind under center. And last week against the Packers, Flacco played well. A 90.9 QB rating, by far his best rating. Let's look what he did in the other games this year. By the way, he played the Bengals back in September 7th. Played the Bengals already. Now he plays for them. And then 2 out of 3 weeks played the Packers for different teams. Just really bizarre. Not to mention he's like 40 and a half years old now. He's a man. He's 40. 75 QB rating, 65, 55, 39 in the 4 games before last week. And now with the Bengals, a 91 rating. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions versus no touchdowns and 6 picks in his other 4 games before that with Cleveland. I do think the Bengals have a lot more weapons offensively, and he will somewhat play well once again this week, even on the short week. And I do like the fact that Cincinnati remains at home. I always talk about how the quick 3-day turnaround favors the home team because there's 1 day of travel not factored in. Now, Pittsburgh to Cincinnati, not a big trip. I get that. But I also say that it normally favors the better team, and they're still working Flacco in. So I'm not really in a hurry to take a flyer on the Bengals plus 5.5. And early indicators are not in yet for me as I do this video early on Monday, but I would expect the public to probably be on Pittsburgh in this game. But one thing I did want to point out is the early look-ahead line this summer, when Burrow was healthy, everything was normal, was Cincinnati by 4.5. Now they're a 5.5-point home dog. That's a 10-point line adjustment from just a month and a half ago. Went from being a 4.5-point favorite to a 5.5-point dog. So, yes, you're definitely paying a premium now to fade the Bengals, who have been really bad. And even last week's cover against Green Bay was a little phony. They were down 14 late in that game. But the total's also been adjusted down. The look-ahead line this summer was around 46.5. It's now 42.5. So we're getting more than a field goal lower here. And I do think both teams will have success throwing the ball. The Bengals cannot run the ball. They're not going to even try. They're averaging 56.5 rushing yards a game. They have no rushing attack, and they're losing most games, so they don't run the ball. Yes, their passing numbers are not great, but as I mentioned, if you use Flacco's numbers from last week, they're perfectly normal. Steelers have been average defensively this season. But Pittsburgh also does not necessarily run the ball that great. They only average about 84 yards a game. They're more of a pass offense as well, nearly 7 yards per pass, and they should have success throwing the ball against what's been a really bad Cincinnati pass defense. The Bengals have been average defending the run this year. The reason they're giving up 30.5 points a game is because they're giving up almost 260 passing yards a game. And to put that in perspective, the fact that they're losing, getting blown out in games, and still giving up that many passing yards, not a good sign. And more importantly, they're giving up 7.6 yards per pass against teams that average just 6.5. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers averaging 6.9. So I think both offenses, both quarterbacks hold the edge in this game, and we get a very modest total. Over 42.5 would be my recommendation this Thursday night, 8:15 Eastern on Prime. Hey, let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Side, total, player props. What are you looking at? Obviously, I would lean towards the passing props over for both teams. Quarterback props, receiver props. How do you want to attack it? Comment below. Include some analysis if you have time. Let's learn and earn and win together here on WagerTalk TV. And if you're liking these free play videos, I've got tons of them coming for all the spotlight games this week for both college and pro football. All I ask is a thumbs up like. It takes 2 seconds to click a thumbs up like on each video. And quite simply, the more thumbs up likes, the more views we get, the more free play videos I do every day here on WagerTalk TV. I do your Thursday night prime game every week. I do your Sunday night, Monday night football games. Also do a lot of these spotlight weeknight games. We've got Tuesday and Wednesday college football. I'm trying to do those games as well for you. So if we get enough views, enough thumbs up, likes, positive comments, I will keep them coming each and every week here on WagerTalk TV. And don't forget about the 2 big boy videos, College Football Top 25 Saturday, NFL Fade the Public Sunday. So click the bell when you subscribe. Click subscribe, but also click that bell as well, so you'll get an instant alert when these free play videos, including those big ones, are posted each and every day here on the channel. Don't forget also on the way out, if you want to get my personal best bets, they're available on a daily basis on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And when you go there, check out the bonus free play that is loaded each and every day. I've got an advanced free play for this Sunday in the NFL loaded right now for you on my page. Go get the free play and check out the special best bet offers and get my plays for as low as about $1 a play with the long-term subscriptions. It's quite simple. If I have a best bet, my clients get it. Same plays that I'm using, my clients get. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month, a 1 year subscription. Everybody gets my personal best bets. And the last cuts go up as free plays as well. And I've got an advanced NFL free play for this coming Sunday for you right now with analysis. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. And hey, get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. On the way out, follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merrill, 2 R's, 1 L. MERRIL at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to WagerTalk TV because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.
Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Dress for Week 7. I'm Lawrence Presman, and my job to find bets in every single NFL game on the board. It starts Thursday.
Happy Wednesday, guys. Welcome into Puck Time on Week. Karma and Bianco, and we are joined shortly by none other than Mr. Brian Leonard breaking down Detroit and Florida. We got a handful of games today, guys. We're going to touch on all of them. And shout out to all of you guys that are here live in the comment section or to tune in afterwards. We appreciate you guys all as well. Guys, a smaller slate today in the NHL, but one that we can certainly make some money on. I don't love a lot of sides today, but I do have some props that I like for you. So looking forward to cashing some tickets. And speaking of which, I know Carm cashed a ticket yesterday easily with the Preds and Toronto over. I had a great night myself, including a nice empty net goal with 4 seconds to go. When it's going well, it's going well. And we got that empty net goal for the team total over the Vegas Golden Knights. So a real good day yesterday, and we keep on rolling. Carm, you just needed one team, man, yesterday for your over. 7 goals for the Maple Leafs. How about that bounce back game?
Yeah, I love the spot yesterday. I'll be on the screen eventually. Wow, yeah. How much screen time do you need where I got it? It's just voiceovers, Andrew. But yeah, no, listen, I love the spot yesterday. I thought we were going to see a lot of goals in that game, and it worked out to the best. I don't know why I look a little crooked on that screen. Let's just fix that up a little bit for you guys. But it gets there, and then I stayed up just because I wanted to see the Anaheim Ducks and see if they could do it as our bankroll builder play. And once again, the Ducks fall into a 2-0 hole and claw their way back into that game. So I was pretty happy about that. Everyone, I think, was happy about that. Yes, the bird is upstairs. It's hopefully it'll be a little quiet. Jake, I do not have any pizza with me right now, but it sounds like a fantastic idea for lunch today is some pizza. And just looking for another good day today. I will have a bankroll play today. It'll be half the size unit-wise of what I normally do. It'll be instead of a $200 flat bet, it'll be a $100 flat bet, but we'll have that at the end of the show. And we're going to cover all 4 games today. Andrew and I are going to do Buffalo and Ottawa to kick it off. Brian Leonard comes in to tackle the Florida Panthers and Detroit Red Wings. Andrew and I will finish it off with St. Louis, Chicago, Calgary, Utah, and then, of course, the play of the day, and we will sign off. But yeah, I'm happy to get the clients. A lot of people bought that play yesterday as part of $5 Tuesdays Customer Appreciation Day. So I thank you all, of course, for being a part of it, and to all you guys who are in the chat as well, too. So with that said, Andrew, we got to hit this. And okay, you know what? I would be remiss if I didn't say this, because I did say on yesterday's show, the Seattle Kraken, and you and I are going to see completely different on this, but that's no way was that a holding penalty on Marchment that gave Montreal a chance to tie it up very late in the game and send it to OT where they won it. It's like the Kansas City Chiefs referees. You guys had the officiating crew on that one. Beach, I think, was the official Canadian, of course. I don't know. You guys kind of stole one there, Andrew.
I've got my answer, Carm. I've got my answer.
Okay. I know you got your answer. Go ahead.
Respond with this. There's 2 things. Number one, anybody that watched the game, there was an icing call that should have been negated, because I think that Lane Hudson beat his man all the way to the hash mark, which is supposed to negate the icing. But number 2, I got to ask you this, Carm. Aren't you tired of seeing slashing calls being made just because a player's stick drops on the ground? Like, this person had the grip of a 4-year-old on their stick. Caulfield taps their stick and it falls out of their hand, and immediately the second a referee sees that, they call it. It's like the easiest. It's the diving version of NHL. Honestly, it really is, because if you are good at dropping, like you have a light grip on your stick and it drops, then it's easily, the referee looks over. Oh, that guy's stick is on the ground. It has to be a slashing call. So that's the one. I'm not going to say you're wrong, but I know you can agree with me on this one, that Caulfield, not really the biggest guy. He skates by somebody, taps their stick, and it drops to the ground. That's not really slashing. Come on now.
So it is. Yeah, I get it, Andrew. Listen, these are like $400 and $500 sticks right now. Bring me back to the old days of the Coho wooden sticks that when we broke them growing up as kids, in an Italian family. My mom just cut the blade off of it and used them for tomato sticks in the garden. Anyone who is old will know what that is. You stuck that stick in the garden, they tied a little wrap around it, and they made the tomatoes grow and stuff. And playing hockey, this is how I age myself. When my stick broke, you know what we did? We cut off the bottom of it and we put the plastic blade on.
Yes,
And that,
I got it.
Then you heated up the oven or the thing, and you put the curve on it. That is the olden days of how you used to play hockey. Not this $500 stick now that you breathe on it and it snaps in half. But
All right.
I'll be remiss. Anyways, with that said, Ottawa Senators -121. The Buffalo Sabres even money at home. Total sits here at 6, Andrew. And we now know, I think he's out for 4 weeks. I did see the slash, or not the slash, when he went in pretty much head first, but hands first into the boards, Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators. And he did stay on the ice for the power play, but it looks like he's out for 4 weeks. How does that affect this team, and how does that affect your handicapping?
Well, Carm, I mean, looking at this one here, it's one of those types of situations where you kind of think that maybe a team will rally around the injured player theory, right? Maybe a team can rally around the fact that Brady Tkachuk is out and it's not going to be easy without him. But I really think people forget that he is the heart and soul of the team. Like he is that guy. But the problem is, Carm, I hate the way he got injured. Like, I know injuries can happen in so many different ways. He got injured in a scuffle. He got injured in pushing players around, and maybe it was a hard check he took a little bit as well from Yossi, and he had to brace himself to catch himself along the boards. I don't like the way he ended up even getting that injury, but a lot of times teams do rally around each other. But it's the Buffalo Sabres coming in 0-3, and this number, it seems weird, Carm. It seems like a short price. Like, it's the same thing. I mean, it was -105 on the road for the Sabres against the Bruins. And now without Brady Tkachuk, it's only -120, for the visiting Senators here. It seems a bit confusing. And I think at this point, if you're betting on the Buffalo Sabres, you're betting on them doing something they haven't really done before. And I think that if you want to bet on them doing something they haven't done before, you might as well just take the over, because they're going to give up goals. They've proven they're going to give up goals. And what bothers me the most about the Sabres so far, Carm, is that they've actually had good goaltending so far. Like, look at the games they've played. They've had some games where their goalies have played well, and they still didn't even do anything about it. So I do think we could see goals early on. You got a goalie making his first career start, I believe, for Buffalo. But you've got Ottawa coming off a game where they gave up a ton of goals against Nashville. Might not get much better. But I've got one play that I like here, Carm, and just one play that I'm going to mention. It's a player prop. And I wanted to bring this up because some players, they play better, or not better, but they do well in filling in for certain roles. And I want to bring this up here. This is Drake Batherson's numbers. And his last 6 games, he has recorded at least 1 point when Brady Tkachuk has been out of the lineup. To me, that's pretty cool, like, to look at. Like, you can go on certain websites, you can find stats to look at how certain players perform when another player isn't in the lineup. And when Brady Tkachuk is out of the lineup, Drake Batherson has gotten at least 1 point in 6 straight games. Now, he makes his return to the lineup today. Zetterlund, Stützle, and Batherson projected to be the top line right winger. I hate to give out a chalky, well, not even really chalky, -145, but I feel like Drake Batherson comes into the game and immediately makes an impact. So sometimes players need to step up when a player goes out, and I feel like he's the guy to step up immediately coming into the game here, Carm.
Yeah, no, Andrew, I get that. It's sort of the next man up mentality. This is one of those games where, I look at it a couple of ways, and I can see where when you talk about goals, I can see where that logic or that thought process comes from. The Ottawa Senators, you look at it, if the Sabres are going to beat a team, and they haven't done a great job of it, they actually played very well against the Colorado Avalanche, but that given, they still lost that game 3-1. on, I think it was on Monday, and the difference in that game was McKinnon. Definitely, he was the Sabres just couldn't handle him, couldn't handle his speed, couldn't handle him in the offensive zone. But the Sabres in their 2 losses at home have only scored 1 goal. They were shut out by the Rangers. They lose 3-1 to Colorado, but they're generating some XG. They generated just a little over 2.5 XG. And for those of you tuning in who don't know what XG means, it means expected goals. And it's a good indicator of if it's a high number and a team isn't scoring, eventually those lines on a graph will cross. And when you see a team scoring get closer to what their XG is, that is usually normally a signal that you want to make them a bet on team. Sabres just haven't been scoring, but now they get an Ottawa team that they've beaten 4 straight games in the regular season. They've scored at least 3 goals in each of those games. And this is an Ottawa team that thus far this year has been taking some dumb penalties. Travis Green can't be happy with how this team is playing right now, Andrew. In spite of getting a win to start off, I think in Tampa, the game against Florida, they took some dumb penalties. They definitely took them against Nashville. They've got to be better from that perspective, because if you keep giving teams power plays, you're going to get scored on eventually. So there's only so much that a guy like Linus Ullmark could eventually do. The one thing that hurts the Sabres is, and I talked about this when Prez was on the show, is it's Alex Line again. And I'm not saying Alex Line is a bad goalie, Andrew, but he's not their number one. Pekka Luukkonen is their number one. He's injured. And so it's been all Alex Line thus far. They need to get a 1-2 goalie combo in. One guy can't take the brunt of it. So we'll see what happens. But I have a feeling it's not a client play that the Sabres get the victory tonight. So give me the Sabres in this one at even money.
All right. You know what, Carm? Dave Koken used to say, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he used to say, when a line seems fishy, that's the side you want to be on. And you've got an 0-3 Buffalo Sabres team against an Ottawa Senators team that has projections to be much higher, and yet the number is so short. It does seem a bit weird, does seem a bit fishy here. We miss Dave every day, and I always think of games like this, or Dave, when I look at games like this, because it does seem like kind of a weird number here for an 0-3 team. This kind of reminds me of NFL. You know, those stats we saw from Ralph, like 0-2 versus a 1-2 or whatever, start of the season. It's like, how many games in a row will the Buffalo Sabres lose? Find out next time. We'll see if they can keep going.
Listen, and I get it, Andrew. The thing is, and this is why I say to everyone, try not to be reactionary with some of these games, especially early on. Sometimes a good team is going to lose 2 or 3 to start the season, and it doesn't mean that you want to start betting against them. You look at the Oilers a couple of years back, or with their team, like they lost, I think, 6 of 7 out of the gate, 10 of 12, make a coaching change and end up in the Stanley Cup Finals. So maybe they were a bet against team early on, but you don't want to bet against them when they start to win. And they did win 16 in a row at one point before, unfortunately, that Christmas All-Star break or whatever came about.
Yeah.
But speaking of guys who love to streak, let's bring in the one, the only, Brian Leonard. There it is. There he is, looking as, my God, if I had hair like that, dude, I wouldn't even be on puck time. I'd be out at a bar at like 11 a.m. just flashing my hair back and forth or whatever.
Brian, when are you going to give some of your hair to Carm? Honestly,
that's what I said. I'm going to get a haircut Thursday. Does he want my clippings? I don't know. I offered it to Marco. He was pretty upset about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Turkey and come back from Turkey in like 6 months' time, and I'm gonna have like a full head of hair. I'll just look like whatever. I'll look like one of you guys. But we need a little boldness on this show. It's like the Oreo cookie with I'm the cream in the middle there. So it's what it is. Bri, Florida and Detroit, and then we'll get to some other stuff in a minute. The Panthers minus 141. Detroit plus 116 off back-to-back wins against the Leafs. One deservedly, one they stole. But as I mentioned before, you win the games you're supposed to win and then steal a few of the ones you're not supposed to win. And that is the recipe for making the playoffs. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, it definitely is. You've got to beat the teams you should beat and then hang in with the other teams. And they've done this so far. I do have concerns about Florida, though. The back-to-back defending champions, they've gotten off to a nice 3-1 start on the season, but they've only outscored the opposition by 3 goals. But, 3 of those games were at home, and the opposition was Chicago, Philadelphia. So far on the season, they played Chicago, Philadelphia twice, and Ottawa. That's not the best the conference has to offer, especially right now with the injury in Ottawa. They'll probably lose more games than they were hoping to, at least. But without Barkov, Tkachuk, Nosek, and Kulikov, this team is fighting an uphill battle. Yes, the names on the jerseys are still going to say Florida Panthers, and they do have some good depth on this team. But this is not the same team that's won the championship the last 2 years. And I think because of all of their success, you're paying a little bit of a premium here. Sort of like being in LA or New York when it comes to baseball. You're always going to play a premium for those teams. I think Florida has earned the premium, no doubt about it. They've been the best team the last 2 years, and they have fared very well against this team. They've won 9 of 11 in Detroit, and overall they have dominated this series. But, they are in the middle of a second game of a 5-game road trip here. And if you take a look at Detroit, that would be the team that would probably have this game circled. If you've gotten beat up by a team for many years and many times, and now they come in really banged up, you have to take advantage of that. And Detroit, right now, they're 2-1 on the season, and they played the tougher competition. They played Montreal, and as you mentioned, they played Toronto twice. So this is the first of 3 straight at home for Detroit. I think this is a big game for them here. And the only problem I find is they got Gibson on in net today against Bobrovsky. Obviously, the host is in the negative in that situation. Bobrovsky is much better than Gibson. But if you look at Gibson's first game, a lot of the problems he had were not of his own making. The defense just did not give him any help in that game. So I'm looking to play something with Detroit here, either splitting the money line with the puck line. Normally, I just stick with the money line, but because they have such a bad record against Florida, maybe the puck line comes into that as well. I'm not willing to lay the 200 on the plus 1.5 for a full bet, but a combination, sort of like a -1 type of thing you would do in baseball. I think that could get you some money here. I prefer the Detroit side.
Yeah, Brian, Carm and I talked about it for years that we thought that Gibson needed to be moved. Like somebody had to grab him. Carm was the one that was all over it. Like someone's got to go out and get Gibson. But Craig, maybe this is a wrong comparable here. And hopefully I'm wrong about this as well, because this pitcher is starting game 4 for the Blue Jays. But, Max Scherzer was once a great pitcher. But every pitcher loses their strength and ends up having a bad ERA. Well, if you wait too long to trade for John Gibson, his GAA is going to be pretty bad. And so I kind of worry that the Detroit Red Wings thought they solved their problem by picking up John Gibson. And then all of a sudden, it's like, hey, guys, do you remember how old he is? So you should have traded for him 3 years ago. So I wanted to, you already touched on, I wanted to ask if that was a problem for you. But the one thing that stood out to me for this game that worried me, I'm not trying to be the Teddy Covers with the follow-up question, but the fact that Detroit and Toronto are so close to each other that how much those games mean to Detroit to beat Toronto, and those back-to-back victories for them, even though it is a big game against Florida, does it worry you at all that they were just like so up for those games against Toronto?
No, I think it's too early in the season in that regard. And I've never played professionally, but I played softball for many, many years. And if you play a team that that has your number, and you look over at that sideline, and these guys that have killed you are not on that sideline, that gives you the opportunity to say, hey, this is the chance for us to get there. Now, who knows what's going to happen before the game or when the game's played, but I don't see that as a negative for Detroit here. I think it's a positive. And you talked about the injury to Ottawa in that first game, and since we're talking about each other's games here, with the injury to Tkachuk on that team, is that going to help the opposition's offense, or from a defensive standpoint, do you think that makes a difference in that game?
Carm, I mean, for me, I think it's going to help the other team because he's so damn hard to play against. I mean, he is just so hard to play against. So it's similar to like Marner, honestly, even though Tkachuk is more of a tougher guy and Marner is more of a skills guy. But people don't often correlate forwards not being there anymore with defense. They just think defensemen mean defense, but forwards have to play defense too. So it's a good question. We'll find out, I guess, Brian. We'll find out.
I think it's the leadership that they end up missing in the end. You know, they've got a lot of good guys in that dressing room, but I think the leadership from that point is what ends up hurting them. You know what I mean? You know, the thing about you're looking at some teams, and you talk about like you mentioned like scoring, Brian, is you look at Detroit in their games thus far, and they've played, 3 games? They've created 9.4 XG, scored 10 goals. So when I talked about creating XG and following up with actually scoring the amount of goals that you're creating, they're right there. They're right on the line of they are doing exactly what needs to be done and taking advantage of their chances. And I'll use another example is last night, for the first time in NHL history, a team started the season with 3 straight shutouts on home ice. The New York Rangers have not scored a goal in 3 games at home. But if you've watched the games, and I have, the game against the Oilers, they played extremely well. Probably one of their best games they've played. The game prior to that, they looked good. The Rangers have created at home in 3 games 9.28 of XG and have 0 goals scored. Now, it's easy to write off the Rangers and say this team is terrible because you bet on it, so you get frustrated and you see that they're not scoring and it pisses you off even more. This is where I talk about a team that at some point is going to break out, and you got to keep an eye on it because the minute they start to score some goals, the gap between the XG created and the goals actually scored is going to shorten. Thoughts, Brian?
Yeah, I agree. They're a much better team than what you have seen out of the actual results. I almost got there with Edmonton yesterday, and I saw, I pay a lot of attention to the short books. They had the best line right before game time. I think they were laying 116 or something, or 119 on Edmonton on the road, where a lot of places were at 135. And I don't think Pinnacle is the NHL go-to source when it comes to wise guy action. But to lay that, and they were a good 6 points or 6 cents off of any other place across there. So they were looking for some money on the road visitor there, Edmonton. And I wish I'd have gotten in early enough to get part of that. But they're a very good team. The Rangers are a very good team. And you're going to find this once in a while. They go on the road, they score 7 goals, come home, score 0. And I think in the long run, it all evens out when you look at home road in that situation, especially if it's a veteran team.
Yeah, I was joking around with Andrew this morning and talking about that Anaheim game last night and their win against Pittsburgh on the late power play goal. I'm like, Chris Kreider got the game-winning goal. Man, the Rangers could really use a guy like Chris Kreider. But who knows what happens in New York? What happens? It's kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for like whatever venereal diseases. Those ones follow you home. Okay, Brian.
We'll stop you right there.
That's right.
Brian, with that said, tell us what you have up at WagerTalk and any promos that you want to toss out there.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll get anywhere in hockey today. All the numbers are pretty close to the way I made it. The one I gave you I'll probably use that as a free play. In baseball, I do have a play up there right now, and we've been very good in baseball this year, obviously. And in the playoffs, I think we're up about 13 net units yet so far. And I've got a nice 3-star play up there, a 3-unit play in Major League Baseball. And once again, number one in the history of WagerTalk in hockey and Major League Baseball net profit. And but I love the show. I love the way you guys are going over the games. And I just wanted to make the reason why I asked about the Tkachuk thing was I thought his physicality would help the Buffalo offense a little bit because they don't have to worry about that. And Andrew had already mentioned he kind of like them to be able to score. That's something I also like in hockey today. Maybe the Buffalo team total over.
And we had a comment saying how well that Buffalo's actually done. I think 5-1 last 6 against Ottawa. So, hey, maybe it's a day for them to find their offense. Who knows, Brian? I wanted to bring this up as well for us. We've got an awesome deal here with buying 2026, get the rest of 2025 on the house. Great deal as well. 90 days of action-packed sports here. The rest of MLB with Brian, college football, NHL, all kinds of great stuff. And then, of course, we have a 7 days for $77. That was gone. It expired, and I believe it's back now once again. So there's all kinds of packages available right now, WT.buzz/BL. And Brian, love talking hockey with you. I feel like between me, you, and Carm, we all bring something different with hockey handicapping. And that's my favorite part about this is that 3 people can look at a game, look at it different ways, and come up with different picks. And that's what makes it so awesome. So good to see you as always, Brian.
Thank you. Good luck, guys.
Carm.
Yeah, Andrew, if you, I, and Brian were running the Buffalo Sabres organization, I think we could get them into the playoffs. Or at the very least, just bet every single over in the game because I'd be pulling the goalie in the third period and playing the whole third period 6-on-5. With that said, let's head to a game, Andrew, in St. Louis. Blues. Look at this price, man. The Blues, I cashed on a play of the day with them at plus 102, plus 104. But minus 232 here against the Chicago Blackhawks, plus 187 is the take back on the Hawks. Total sits here at 5.5. Give me your thoughts on this one.
My thoughts are, what the hell's going on with this price here? That's my thought. I mean, this is just a little bit of a number here that I don't know if I want to really be involved in when it comes down to it. I mean, looking at this game, I'm tempted to play the Chicago Blackhawks in this spot. I really am. And, you got the Blackhawks coming off that 3-1 victory. You have this St. Louis Blues team. The last 2 games for them, it's looked like a breeze. I mean, you called that great one for them against the Vancouver Canucks. They beat the Calgary Flames. I mean, they didn't look good in their first game. They got slapped around 5 ways all game long against the Minnesota Wild. Since then, they've looked pretty good. And they're really well coached with Jim Montgomery. And you know what? As situational cappers, I mean, you can really say, oh, maybe there's no such thing as flat spots or look aheads and all that stuff early in the season. I think we can all agree, though, that there are some games that mean more than others. And I think I don't want to compare the 2 teams, but a lot of people came into Montreal last year, Carm, and didn't take them serious. And people are saying now the Canadians are going to have more of a target on their back. Well, I think Chicago is going to be that team that might catch teams off guard. They're better than they were last year, but no one's going to really take them serious. So I'm looking at maybe a Chicago first period money line. Maybe we'll get some goals from them early on. And the best part is here, maybe I don't have it in me to play the full game money line, Carm. Maybe I just don't have the stones to do that, if we're allowed to say that on WagerTalk programming. But I think I want to look at the first period team total over. I'm trying to get the number here, but I can't find it while I'm live on the show. Here we go, minus 120. So I know we're turning a plus price into a minus here, but the first period money line is plus 160, and the first period team total over a half goal is minus 120. So kind of interested in that. We're pretty much banking on a good 20 minutes out of the Chicago Blackhawks. You cashed the ticket with the Blues last time out, Carm. Can they do it again?
I think they're going to win. I wouldn't play against the St. Louis Blues. I just, especially at home, Andrew, where they're extremely tough. Like, they lost that game to, I think it was to Minnesota, which snapped a 15 game or more win streak on home ice. They play so well at home. Defend at home. Make it tough for teams that are coming in to beat you, and you're going to make the playoffs if you can win some on the road. But you win a majority of your games at home, and that's how you get into the playoffs. All the good teams do it, and the St. Louis Blues were doing it at the end of last season, and even in the playoffs, where they won their games at home. So, with that said, it's tough to go against them. Do I want to take the 232? Likely not. I would think that if you were dead set on playing this game, and I'm not trying to advocate parlays or what have you, but you probably take the two teams that I believe should win tonight, which is the Blues and Utah. And I'm not sure if that 232 and a 227 can pretty much get you even money or not. I was just about to calculate that right now. I think it's too early in the season to start delving into like puck lines, just because we're seeing, someone asked me about the puck line in the Leafs game yesterday, and I said I wouldn't take it until the Leafs start to gel as a team. Now, they scored 7 goals, but there were some empty netters mixed in there as well too, and against a backup goalie in Justin Annunen. So we shall see. But I'm shying away from any puck lines right now. Maybe that game is a complete pass for me on St. Louis. But if you're going to take it, if you want to bet, I haven't asked. So my lean, guys, I'm going to say it is I'm going to pass on the game. But if you do want to take it, I would think the Blues in Utah, which we're going to discuss next, as a 2-teamer is probably a good idea if you can get even money on it. Here's my question for you, Andrew.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Is Connor Bedard? We are into what, season 3 of Connor Bedard? He was supposed to be, and I get it, it's the Chicago Blackhawks, not a lot of talent on that team throughout the lineup, even though they do have some players. He was supposed to be the next generational player, the talent, the next Connor McDavid, the next Nate McKinnon. It hasn't come to fruition as of yet. And do you think it's because of where he is in that with that organization?
Well, some people think that he can't drive a line himself. And I've actually heard rumblings. Some people think he'd be better off as a winger than a centerman. So it's tough. But when you look at the lineup for the Blackhawks, it also makes you question, like, hey, is this lineup good enough? Are they surrounding him with enough talent? But every single player should be able to create goals on their own if you're a number 1 draft pick, if you're a number 1 guy. I feel bad for him because, you know what? Last year, Macklin Celebrini comes into the league, Carm, and every single Canadian was like, oh, no, this young kid is better. If one player should be on the Olympic team, it should be Macklin and not Connor. It's tough because I kind of compare like San Jose and Chicago, like the same team, except for I think San Jose is doing the rebuild the right way. I mean, right now, both teams have a ton of talent around them. This year, Chicago was a lot more talented than they were last year. But I think that mentality-wise, Connor just needs to see other guys around him do better. Like Ryan Donato and Frank Nazar and some of those guys being around will certainly help him out. But we'll see, Carm, because they need him to be the all-star that he is. He didn't sign a deal this year, right? Typically you sign a deal going into your final year of your contract. He didn't do that. So obviously they're going to sign him, but he's trying to put on a showcase and absolutely, sign the bag. So we'll see what ends up happening here. Do you have any more comments on that? If not, I got a funny graphic I want to bring up.
Okay. So my only comment is the guy's got talent. I don't think it's been completely unleashed the way it's supposed to. It's going to be, it might take a couple of years. I don't even think, Andrew, I'm going to go as far as saying, I don't even believe he is going to be on Team Canada's Olympic roster. I don't see it. Maybe the next one around, I see in, the 4 years time or what have you, but I just don't see him making the Team Canada. And that's a hard thing for a guy that young, and with that much talent. And then one quick note, that parlay pays 106 plus
Not
106.
bad.
So if you're taking the St. Louis Blues and Utah, and that's at minus 232 and minus 227, which are the consensus numbers right now, I will say this, guys: if parlays are hard to hit. It's tough enough to pick one game, never mind 2 or 3 or 4. If you're going to play one, don't lay vig. You should always be getting plus money back, because if you have to pick multiple legs, 2 or more, and you're laying vig, you are just going to destroy your bankroll. Anyways,
Yeah, it's not
go
good.
to your graph.
It's not good. All right, Carm, it's not really that serious, but because I get to control things behind the scenes today, which is why you've seen some mishaps so far, I thought I would bring this up, and I thought you'd be able to get a laugh at it with me here. Oh, that's the wrong graphic. See, there we go. We're already messing up. We're already messing up. Hold on. Bear with me. Everybody, hold on. Bear with me. Hold on. See if we can get this going. All right. All I wanted to do was make fun of the Maple Leafs for a second. It's all I really wanted to do. And I saw so many people tweeting last night like, Matthews is back. Matthews is back. William Nylander's back. Look at this stat. Matthews and Nylander combined 4 goals on an empty net and only 1 goal on a goalie. Everybody is saying, wow, they're going to be just fine without Mitch Marner. Yeah, they're going to be just fine without Mitch Marner when there's no goalie in the net. So you Leaf fans, just remember that they scored 7 goals yesterday, and the only 2 goals these guys scored, well, empty net goals. And yeah, Matthews scored another one, but it was just a tap in. Anyway, that's my shot of the day at the Maple Leafs, Carm. I know you don't want me to get off track, but I thought this was hilarious. 4 goals combined on an empty net and just 1 goal on an actual goalie.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm shocked that you would take a shot at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like I would never do anything like that personally. You know what I mean? My favorite team is the one that I have money on any given night, and sometimes it's multiple teams, much like tonight, because I gotta have 3 plays up for clients, and it'll show up on my page shortly after the show. But let's talk about the Calgary Flames and Utah here, and this is going to be my bankroll building play of the day. So I will start with that, Andrew, and then I'll go to you for your thoughts. So someone had asked, I think, Pocket Sunshine, you're going for half of your normal size. So every bet and every month I will, Andrew, the plan is this: every month I will look at what the new ending balance is, and that becomes the new starting balance, and then it'll be like 4% of that new amount. But it's a 4% of the original starting bankroll right now, which was $5K. So they're all $200 flat bets. Like last night was 200 to win 143. If it is a prop bet, I cut it in half, and it's just a flat $100 prop bet. So with that said, let's get this ready, because I'm going to use this one, Andrew, as a short on our YouTube channel. But today's play of the day is not the guy with the big forehead there. Let's try this again. Today's play of the day is none other than the Utah Mammoth team total over 3.5 minus 130. Current bankroll is 53.48. So it's just a flat bet of 100 at odds of minus 130. There are lower prices out there, but all my prices are coming from the same book. It's 113 at some places, 130 at DK. So that's what price I'm going to use. And I'll explain to you why I'm taking this play. First of all, Utah beat Calgary all 3 meetings last season, scoring 5, 5, and 3 in those games. The second of a back-to-back for Calgary. Last year, 9 games on the second of a back-to-back. They win 3 and 6 and allowed an average of 4 goals, exactly 4 goals per game in those ones. And then the final one is it's Devin Cooley starting goal for Calgary tonight. In his limited NHL career, he has made 6 starts, allowed 4 or more goals in 4 of those 6 starts, and allowed 25 total goals in 6 starts. It looks like a very bad spot for the Calgary Flames tonight off of a loss last night to the Vegas Golden Knights in which they blew a third period lead. Utah, over 3.5 minus 130 is your play of the day. Andrew?
Carm, congrats on that great start, man. That great start to the bankroll builder. 2 great wins. I'll tell you what, that game last night, a little bit of a sweat, but a fun game to watch there with the Anaheim Ducks, a real exciting team. And as you mentioned to Brian, man, if only the Rangers had a player like Chris Kreider that can score the greasy goals.
Did you, before you give me your thoughts on this game, did you see what the Anaheim Ducks did yesterday for their home opener? They gave everyone those duck masks. I absolutely love it. This is, I wouldn't want to walk on a dark street at night with 5 guys behind me with those masks on. I can't run that fast, but in fear of getting mugged. But man, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, Carm, I feel like you got to go all out, especially if you're sort of a rebuilding team, but they're not really a rebuilding team anymore. They've got faith. They're going to be a lot better. I'll put it this way, guys. This is the only play I've released so far, and I've got props coming, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have a side or total coming out besides this one. So here it is. First period puck line is the move for me on this Utah team. I gave it out on my show last night. The pre-scout, 10 p.m. Eastern. We're live. We're going over games. We're giving picks. And last night, we were literally handicapping live on the show. Didn't have all my picks together, and we decided to handicap together. Shout out to Occupancy. How's it going, WagerTalk? Love the new pre-scout show. Talking about Detroit team total under 2.5. Great stuff there. For me, I am looking at the first period puck line for Utah strictly because of that flat effort they had against the Blackhawks, Carm. And this offense here is going to show up for their home opener at the Delta Center. They are going to get absolutely packed. A lot of noise in that building. I think they're going to get behind their team, and the offensive weapons are going to come ready to play. And you talked about it. This is a team that I'm really, really confident in that can bounce back off poor losses. And when I look at this goaltending situation, to your point, they've got a guy that allowed 13 goals combined in his last 2 starts, and he hasn't started since like 2024. So I'm confident here we'll get off to a good start. -0.5 goal in the first period, plus 115 for the Utah Mammoth. And it's going to get weird getting used to saying the Utah Mammoth, but I kind of like that logo. And I got to give you credit for what you did there with the bankroll play. They're getting the Mammoth up there. It looks real good.
I would like to thank my friends at ChatGPT for doing those graphics for me. But Andrew, the other day, the Mammoth played the Nashville Predators. I saw a tweet that said, "Congratulations to the NHL on your first prehistoric meeting of the NHL season, the Preds and the Mammoth." So that was pretty cool. As well, too, someone made a comment much earlier in the day about this Buffalo Bills hat. If they don't smarten up soon, it's going to go on to the lower shelf, and Sidney Crosby is going to move over to the to where we can see him a little bit better. So, Andrew, 3 plays up for me in the NHL tonight. You can get them over at my page, wt.buzz/CB. The package will be up shortly in the next 5 minutes. The plays are already loaded. And NFL 5% play up for Sunday. If you use the code Sunday10, you can get $10 off of that play as well, too. Let's just see if we can keep on putting some W's in the column for our clients.
Carm, wishing you best of luck. And I think that with this read you had yesterday on the Leafs over and one team scoring 7 goals, you're going to go on a big run here. And I'm excited as well about tonight's prop plays. Not really a lot of sides and totals I love on tonight's slate, but I do like a lot of props. Guys, usually do well in the preseason. Didn't do well in the preseason this year. Things didn't really go my way. We dropped 9 units in the preseason. But we're off to a really good start as far as the NHL regular season is concerned. This promo code is still active, guys. Promo code NHL200 takes $200 off a full season NHL pass. WT.buzz/AM or WT.buzz/CB for Carmine. Guys, I'm up 21 units already in NHL this regular season. We're cashing tickets. Vegas over 3.5. Washington Capitals money line. We got the first period puck line with the Maple Leafs. It was a good day on Tuesday. We'll manage the bankroll properly. We'll ride our way into a really good season, and I'm feeling awesome, off to a good start. And I think the pre-scouts helped me out a lot, guys. Looking at the games early, 10 p.m. Eastern every single night. You guys can join me on my show. And Carm, not tonight, but tomorrow, guess who's joining me? Chris Otto, the guy with the awesome first period trend,
all right.
joining me on the show.
ESQ
so
Auto.
Can't wait for that.
Awesome.
Can't wait for that.
That's good. And maybe you can get one of the referees that officiated yesterday's Montreal-Seattle game and on the show and see if, thank them for giving you that unnecessary penalty that got you guys the tie against the Kraken. But whatever. I digress. Once the Sabres win a game, I can talk.
Yeah, the Sabres on the way to go 0-82. All right, that will do it for today, guys. Let's wrap up the show. Awesome stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. We appreciate it. Comment below. Let us know who you are betting on this Wednesday night. Find Carmine at WagerTalk, myself at WagerTalk, and always a special thanks to Brian Leonard for joining us here on Puck Time. Best of luck. We'll see you guys next time, same place.
Thursday night football on Prime. 6-1 in your free Thursday night games this year, or free plays rather. We gave you a side and total in week 2, so we've given you 7 of them, gone 6-1 overall. But we did miss last week. 2 minds are better than 1. Steve Merrill, Dan Alexander. That's a dangerous combination, and we have researched the travel situation here for Rams Jags Sunday morning in London. I do think there's an edge in this game also from a betting perspective. Full details, free play, free analysis for your Sunday Wembley game. Rams Jags coming up free right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV, and we've back-to-back winning weeks here for your Sunday 9:30 a.m. Eastern kickoff. So let's go for a third week in a row. We'll give you a free play winner in a second. And I reference our producer, Dan Alexander, does all the great graphics here for my videos. And he and I were researching the travel for this situation. And I assumed the Rams weren't going back to his hometown of LA, his new hometown of LA. But what's interesting is we found out that they're staying in Baltimore all week until Friday. Not quite sure why you would do that. Why not get over sooner, minimize the travel and the distraction? And the Jags are actually doing that. They're leaving Monday, I believe, leaving from Jacksonville. They had a home game loss to Seattle, of course. Rams had a nice road game win in Baltimore. They've gone from West Coast to East Coast, 3-hour difference. Now they have another 5-hour difference to overcome. I don't think it's a big deal either way. And I do think not having the guys travel right after a game is probably easier on the bodies. They're going to practice at Camden Yards till Friday. So I'm not too worried about it, but I did think it was interesting to see the teams take two different approaches for this London game. And by the way, comment below, what are your thoughts? Travel early or travel later? I probably would have left on Tuesday, split the difference, leave on Tuesday or Wednesday and get acclimated to London and do some sightseeing. These games are a bit random, and we've talked about that the last couple of weeks. So I just kind of handicap them as a clean handicap, and I don't try to guess which team might have more fatigue or be more distracted. And like the Thursday night games, which we've done very well on, by the way, 6-1 heading into this Thursday's free play. By the way, 2-0 the last two Sunday mornings, as I mentioned. So maybe we're onto something. Let's just play the better teams in these games. And that's the Rams in this one. Let's not overthink it. And I feel the price is fair at -3 or less. Open 3 juice, but then early by Monday it was 3 flat. So we're getting a fair line here. And by the way, if you're new to sports betting, the reason I talk about that key number of 3 is on average, NFL favorites are going to win by exactly 3 points in this price range, at least about 9% of the time. So the difference between 3, 3.5 is pretty substantial. And the look-ahead line this summer was briefly 3.5 in some spots. So we're getting some extra value now at -3 or less. And also I'm looking to fade Jacksonville. You know, we faded them 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Football with the Chiefs. I did a free play video for you in that game. Gave you the over as well, which did cash. But I also like Kansas City in that game. And it was feeling pretty good when they were up 14-0. I was a little worried about the over. Hey, but it felt like the side was in play. But yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs found a way to blow it. Did bounce back this past Sunday night. We had a best bet winner for you in both the video and for my actual clients with the Chiefs last Sunday night against the Lions. And I call that a misleading win because I don't feel like the Jags were the better team in that game. And it does look like they were exposed last week at home against Seattle. A really bad offensive effort, scoring just 12 points in that game. And I think that could linger here as they travel because the passing offense is not spot on this year. Huge passing edge for the LA Rams in this one. In fact, the Jags are averaging just 5.9 yards per pass against teams that allow 6.9. And then look at the flip side of that. The Rams throwing for 7.7 yards per pass against teams that give up just 6.5. Jags have been slightly below average pass defense. The Rams' pass defense has been one of the best in the league, just 5.7 yards per pass allowed. Almost a certainty that the Rams are going to win the passing matchup here by a substantial amount. And I don't think Jacksonville is going to overcome with the rushing edge enough to make a difference here. I know it's an international game, but both teams are leaving from the East Coast. Rams are the much better team overall, better defense, and the much better passing attack. And it's pretty much a straight-up win situation at -3 or less. Take a look at the LA Rams. Early Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's at Wembley Stadium in London. Comment below. I read the comments, I reply back. Include some analysis of your time. How are you attacking this game on Sunday? And do you like these London games? There's been some value for us here. Back-to-back free winners for the last couple of weeks. We'll try to make it third in a row here with this game. Don't forget also your Sunday night and Monday night football videos are always posted here. I give you your weeknight college football videos. That Thursday night prime game I talked about that's done quite well the last couple of seasons. 6-1 start this year, over 70% free on Thursday nights last year. We've been dialed in on these Spotlight National TV games, and I try to give them all to you free here on the channel. All I ask is a thumbs up, like, and if you have a couple more seconds, a positive comment below as well. It goes a long way to keeping these videos free and plentiful on WagerTalk TV. Hey, speaking of free, click and subscribe is free. Don't cost nothing. Over 200 and 24,000 subscribers. Can't be wrong. Consider clicking the bell as well when you sign up here as a free member on WagerTalk TV as a subscriber. Click the bell as well for an instant alerts. You know, when these videos are all posted throughout the week for the national TV games, the Spotlight games, and most importantly, my Saturday college football free play video with the top 25s, and also Sunday's NFL Fade the Public video. Click subscribe, click the bell for instant alerts. Now, if you want to get my official best bets, I give you all the Spotlight national TV games for free here in videos every week. Sometimes, like the Chiefs last Sunday night, they make my card and they become official best bets. But a lot of times they're opinions only. I give them to you here in the videos. I also post bonus free plays on my page that are last cuts from the best bet card. But the only way to get my official client best bets, the same games I'm personally using each day, is to be a direct subscriber at WagerTalk.com. And I've got two very special offers. If you've been on the fence, thinking about getting on board, and by the way, use that shortcut you see on the screen, wt.buzz/SM. It gets you there quicker, saves you a couple seconds typing on the internet. But right now, when you go to my page at WagerTalk.com this week, all sports, all access specials, whether you want a short term or a long term. And by the way, it doesn't matter. Every client gets the same best bets I'm personally using. If I have a play, I send it to my clients. Whether you're a 1 day, a 1 week, a 1 month, a 1 year subscriber, everyone gets the same plays I'm personally using. Same games I've won consistently with since I started over 29 years ago as a full-time professional in August of 1996. Right now, 7-day all access, normally $99, you get it for just $69. Instant $30 discount with the promo code you see on your screen. Week 30, WEEK30, week 30, instant $30 discount on a 1 week all access. And yes, that is all access. It's going to get Major League Baseball playoffs each day that we have a best bet, college and pro football each day. And also basketball is here. Starts this Tuesday night. The NBA is here. So this is a great time to be an all sport, all access. Even the 1 week's going to get you into basketball next week if you time it right. Or if you want to get all sports, including college basketball, all of next year's baseball, rest of this year's college and pro football into next year. Yeah, the 1 year all access is the way to go. Not only does it get every sport every day, but it makes you take a true consistent investment approach, and it gets the cost of investment down to just a couple dollars a play, because I'm giving you an instant $500 discount right now with the 1 year all access, 365-day all access, every sport, every day, instant $500 discount at checkout when you use that promo code you see on your screen. And that is year 500, YEAR 500, year 500. Instant $500 discount on the 1 year all access. So how do you use it? You go to my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. On the right-hand side, you'll see the drop-down menus for all these sports specials. Go to All Sport, All Access. If you choose the 1 week, use week 30. If you choose the 1 year, use year 500, and you'll get those instant discounts at checkout and get my best bets for just a few dollars a day, especially with that 1 year all access. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com to get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. On the way out, follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merrill. You see in the bottom corner of your screen, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merrill on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV, because you know there's more free play videos coming up next.
You are live. Welcome to Wager Talk today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is Wednesday, middle of the week. We're diving deep into college football and MLB. Ralph Michaels has UTEP versus Sam Houston and Tulsa versus East Carolina, and he's got his favorite NFL Week 7 trends and angles. It's more like Mythbusters. We're going to dispel some myths about back-to-backs this week. Ross the Boss Benjamin is back, baby. You guys have been asking. He's finally feeling better. Ross is back. He's going to join us for Blue Jays Mariners, North Carolina, and Cal, and then another episode of This Line Makes No Sense. It's time to get sharp, guys. Let's get into it. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button. Algorithm boost, you guys know. And say we got a comment. I won't ever miss Contender Series again. Thank you for the breakdown. Absolutely. We hit our $5 Tuesday play, and it was one of the best live betting nights of Contender Series. I think all said and done, we went 9-1 last night, and there's only 6 fights. Good Lord. It was an insanely good night. Sadly, that was the last night of Contender Series King. But join us for the UFC show. We're gonna be printing tickets on that one too. All right, let's bring in Ralph and his pen, and we're gonna talk some college football. Ralph, you were saying you love. Wait, how many days was it? 49 days in a row now.
We are in a stretch of 49 straight days of football. That goes until the Wednesday prior to Thanksgiving, and then we have that great Thanksgiving week with all the Friday games. You know, Andy. We talked about this before we got on the air. Why the heck are we talking about a game where the teams are combined 0-11 against FBS teams? Because it's on TV.
I mean, it's insane. UTEP versus Sam Houston. Ralph, neither team can score. You mentioned 0-11. They're combined 1-11. I'm calling this, Ralph, the resistible force versus the movable object. These two teams are struggling. Somebody's got to win tonight. UTEP, how'd you like to be the line maker in this one? Who are we going to make favorite? UTEP -2. How are we going to do an over-under on two teams that can't score? Put it at 47.5 and let the people decide. What's your breakdown on this game?
Well, I like UTEP, actually. You know, UTEP's one win was against an FCS foe. They beat UT Martin. You know, and you look at UTEP, and UTEP was a team that people were picking that had a shot in the CUSA. Why? Because Malachi Nelson's their quarterback. He was a USC 4 or 5-star recruit, depending on who you use. We thought they were going to go up-tempo. Scotty Walden in his second season. Well, guess what? Malachi Nelson has completed 55%, 8 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions on the season. That's the reason UTEP can't win. UTEP has not won the turnover battle in any game. And in fact, versus FBS teams, they've lost the turnover battle in every game, and they're -7 on the year. You're not going to win many games that way. Let's look at season-to-date numbers, though. UTEP has played one of the weakest schedules. You know, they played Texas. They lost 27-10. They kept that game within reason. But their overall strength of schedule, Andy, is number 130. Remember, there's only 136 teams. You look at the Sam Houston side, they have actually played the number 62 schedule. So when I look at yards per game diff, UTEP 85, Sam Houston 133. That's yards per game offense minus the defense and their rank. So that's about where it should be. You look at where UTEP's strength of schedule is, Sam Houston's strength of schedules. The offense is, as you said, this year, 118 and 131. The scoring offense is number 120 and number 127. Pace of play. The reason the total is so low, both offenses are bad. UTEP with a positive defense. Their defense is actually playing very well. UTEP is number 99 in plays per game run. Sam Houston, one of the slowest teams in all of the FBS. They are averaging under 60 yards per play. That is number 131 in the FBS. Neither has explosive plays. Combined, they have 100 explosive plays of 10 yards or more. That may sound a lot, but that's number 128 and number 130. So we've got a lot of ugly offensive stats. We have two very slow-paced teams. But, Andy, I am going to say this. I do lean under in this game, but as I've done with a lot of unders, I prefer first half. Why? Because we're getting a fair number with 23.5. And when you have two desperate teams looking for their first FBS win, this is the type of situation where you may try in the second half to go for it on fourth down when you're not accustomed to it, to try some trick plays. Turnovers will be a factor here. Both teams are negative turnovers. I'll hope that those turnovers are in the opponent's red zone, which you always want with an under, versus in your own red zone, backed up to your end zone, where teams can get defensive touchdowns. I lean UTEP, can't lay points on the road with them, so give me under 23 or 23 and a half for the first half.
I like that breakdown. Yeah, you got two teams that can't score. Yeah, absolutely. I like the read on that one. Let's move to Tulsa and East Carolina. It's just funny to say out loud, Tulsa's 2 wins are against Abilene Christian and Oklahoma State. It just doesn't sound right. And East Carolina, boy, with Ralph, when they win big. They're 3 wins. What is it, 122-9 combined total. So they're laying a big number, but they can do it. What's your breakdown on this game?
You know, I've been an East Carolina fan this entire season, and there's a trend, which I'll get to at the end of this, which is actually keeping me off playing East Carolina. Well, we just had 2 of the slowest tempo teams at number 99 and 131 plays per game. This is the polar opposite. These teams, East Carolina is number 2 in the country, averaging 77.2 plays per game. Tulsa, number 18 in the country, averaging 73 points per game. So both will have plenty of pace. The one thing I am very happy that Trey Lamb did. Trey Lamb is a first-year head coach. They brought back a starter from last year. He was a full-time starter under their coach last season, was Kirk Francis. But he didn't have a good camp. He came in, so he switched both quarterbacks. You have 2 quarterbacks on the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes that have each started 3 games. Well, what's the old adage? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. He's finally made the decision, and he is going to go to Baylor Haynes moving forward. Baylor Haynes, by the way, 61%, Kirk Francis, 60%. But Baylor Haynes has had a better feel for the offense. He's driven him downfield more. He has gotten more first downs than Kirk Francis has. So with a rush attack that's actually playing pretty decent at 153 yards per game and 4.1 yards per carry, I think that is the right choice for Tulsa. You look at East Carolina. They scored 19 points at Tulane. Tulane's defense is very good. Tulane runs the ball often. They scored 28 points against Army. Army runs the ball, slows down the clock. Against BYU, they had 404 yards, but only 13 points because they were minus 2 turnovers. EC's offense is legit behind Caitlin Hauser. He's averaging 8.0 yards per attempt. Not great, but he does get the ball downfield. He has 4 receivers over 300 yards. They're all averaging over 13 yards per reception. And we look at the Tulsa defense. Their numbers are okay because they played Abilene Christian and New Mexico State early. But you look at their numbers over the last 4 weeks, 440 yards per game, 25 first downs allowed. That's a massive number in those last 4 games. Tulsa making a change at quarterback stabilizes their offense. Tulsa's defense, not good. East Carolina, very misleading. Last 3 games, scoring a combined 60 points. We're actually getting value because their offense their offense has not looked as good as they should. These kind of cases with these kind of tempos, with us getting value, this total should be 62 or 63, but East Carolina's offense the last couple of weeks has kept this number lower. I'm on over, and this actually may be a client release for me. So if you see tomorrow at WagerTalk that I have a college football client release and it's a Thursday college football total, guess what? Don't buy it. You know what it is.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. Let's talk some NFL trends. Last week you did the off of a bye. and how that myth about, teams off bye, the rest they cover more, and they don't. And then I told you, me and Dan did the exact same thing on Friday. We were like, well, the team's off bye. Just naturally, you just say it. So we're going to do another one today. We're talking about back-to-back road games and back-to-back home games. And when you say that, you say, oh, well, back-to-back home games, surely they must have the better covering record or straight up record, whatever. Back-to-back road games, so tough, so tough. Numbers are kind of a little different on this one. This one is surprising. So tell us what.
Andy, I'm going to say, if you and I go to the bar tonight, we go into a sports bar, people watching the football game, and we say to people, you tell me, is an ATS record better since 2019 for teams playing a second straight home game or a second straight road game? I'm going to say probably 8 or 9, maybe even all 10 would say the ATS record for the home team. And the ATS record for the home team is 50%. So not wow. And again, the away team, if we could see the chart, we will see back-to-back away teams are 51.2% against the spread. Back-to-back home teams are 50%. So while it's only a 1.2% difference, we're not telling you to not bet back-to-back home. We're not telling you to bet back-to-back away. We just have to make sure when you're handicapping this game, you don't make it a negative that a team is playing a second straight road game. Now below, if you look on the chart, you're going to see the gray numbers with the small p's. So on the top line, on the left-hand side, teams playing a second straight away. Right-hand side, teams playing a second straight home. The middle is previous win as a favorite, previous loss as a favorite, previous win as a dog, previous loss as a dog. And you see there are a couple reds and one green that do stick out. So let's look at the teams playing a second straight away game. If they lost the first game as a favorite, they've gone 37-26, 59% against the spread. There is one game that applies to this week, Andy. And who would that be?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
And you have the Eagles colors behind you just for that reason. I see why you did that. A couple negative situations. This doesn't apply to anyone, but if you're playing a second straight road and you lost the last game as a dog, you're only 46.9%. And if you're playing a second straight home and you won the first game as a dog, you're 42.1%. I will post this on Twitter at CalSportsLV if you want some more time. But 2 more things I want to mention on this. Someone had reached out to this, and I get asked this every year, a couple times a year. What happens if a team is back-to-back home versus a team back-to-back away? The team playing back-to-back home, only 46.5%. So that is more of a myth buster to me, that you would think a team that hasn't traveled versus another team. The back-to-back road team's 53.5. And if the home team is off a win, playing a back-to-back road game off a loss, the home team is only 43%, a bigger play on. There is one negative, Andy, calling you Teddy. Sorry about that. I apologize tremendously. When a team is away for a third straight, we know back-to-backs aren't bad, but when a team is on the road for a third straight game, they are only 44.3%. And if they're on the road for a third straight game and they're off an away win, they're only 37%. So no problems back-to-back road, but when you get to a third straight road, there are some negatives.
All right. Yeah, it makes all the sense. So when you're looking at this chart, guys, look at the red, the 2 reds and the green, and just know that we've got this Philadelphia Eagles situation that's coming up. So Ralph, you've got some stuff about GoldSheet. Tell us about GoldSheet this week.
Well, we have a sale on GoldSheet today, guys. GoldSheet normally $19 a week. And if you're not sure what you're going to get with GoldSheet, take a look. This is one game that we're bringing up. And in this game, you're going to see a complete write-up. You're going to see a stat breakdown. You're going to see their averages over the last 3 games, which I love, to look how a team has performed, what their average line was, what their opponent's power rating was. And one thing I do want to point out here, if we can show the team logs for the Florida Atlantic team. The GoldSheet logs.
Let me see if I can pull that up, Ralph. The Wi-Fi went out in the office. So we're flying by the seat of our pants here, Ralph. Just start talking. I'll pull up these files.
All right. So we're going to look at the South Florida the Florida Atlantic logs. The logs are full game, first quarter, and first half. There you go. Thank you very much, Andy. This is just the logs, guys. There's so much more information. Florida Atlantic, full game, 3-3 against the spread. You see that first column. Take a look at the middle column. That is first quarter, Andy. They are not only 6-0 in the first quarter. Look at those average cover margins that they've had. First half, by the way, they're 5-1 over under. So it really does help you where if you're one that always bets full game, when you're looking at both logs above and below each other, if you have a team that's great in the first quarter against a team poor in the first quarter, or great first half, poor first half, those are the kind of extra value that you do get with the GoldSheet logs. I look at them every game. GoldSheet normally $19 a week, a write-up on every FBS game, every NFL game, logs for every team, stat profiles for every team. This week, try the GoldSheet out for only $9. The code GS10. Head to WagerTalk right on the front page in the main brick. You're going to see the GoldSheet $19. Click on it, purchase it, use the coupon GS10, and guess what? You're getting this week's GoldSheet for $9. I had to look it up, Andy. That is 12.5 cents per game. You want to talk about value, guys? Check out this week's GoldSheet, coupon code GS10. I see Ross smiling back there. He is ready to get on this stage.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. There's your breakdown on college football trends, and don't forget to use that promo code GS10 to get your instant discount on GoldSheet. Good luck, Ralph. Let's have a great week. Shout out to everyone in the chat. A couple of comments. Andy, what happened to our cricket expert? Cricket is back this weekend. Cricket has a very, very weird schedule. So we've got some leagues that are not bettable and then some leagues that are very bettable. So we're going to actually jump into cricket here this weekend. Just talk to him. We're going to have some soccer as well. So should be a really, really good weekend. Someone asked about a player prop. I do not have any player props for the college football game. So apologize for that one. Just couldn't find any value. I mean, they got this guy, London Montgomery. He's minus 115 for an anytime touchdown score. This guy scored in one game. The touchdown props, they're fun, but there's only a couple guys that there's really any value on in any of these sports. It's fun to throw like a few of them in parlays. Like those are fun to root on, but as far as actual bankroll building, the only one that I've used over the years is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts to score a touchdown. We cashed that for clients last weekend, but he's averaging like one rushing touchdown per game as a pro. That's the only one that I've really, really found much value in. So, all right, let's bring in Ross, the boss. And Ross, I got to tell you, you are loved, my friend, because people have been asking about you. And when I'm gone, I don't know when I'm not on the show, I don't know if people ask about me, but you have been asked about every single week. So first off, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. And how are you?
Thank you, Andy. Much better. And I appreciate all the viewers out there, clients that have reached out and expressed some heartwarming messages to me. You know, I thought I had a stomach bug a couple of weeks ago, Andy, and it ended up being a infection, and I had to go under emergency gallbladder infection. I had to go under emergency surgery and a 5-day stay in the hospital. So I'm good now. I'm ready to go, my friend.
Well, I'm always taking the over on Ross Benjamin coming out on the good side. So,
you know,
all right, Ross.
Between what happened in early January with the prostate cancer, now I've gone 67 years staying healthy, Andy, and this year has been just a nightmare. And if I was a used car and you bought me in January, I'd certainly qualify for you turning me in as a lemon law. But, you know, not my handicap, and there's no lemon law there.
Let's finish strong in 2025. Let's make this a winner here. All right, let's do a Major League Baseball first. We got Blue Jays and the Mariners, ALCS Game 3. Bieber was a little shaky coming into the playoffs, but last game, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2.2 innings. Kirby was good in 2 starts versus Detroit, 10 innings, 3 earned runs. You got Seattle up 2-0, and you got Toronto as plus 108, Seattle minus 131. Very vanilla number of 7 is the over-under. I feel like that's just kind of They just just stick 7 on these playoff games and let us figure it out. How do you break down the Blue Jays and the Mariners?
Yeah, I have a money line winner in this game up for sale right now at WagerTalk, and that's wt.buzz/RB. You could find that pick there. But for now, I'm going to concentrate on a pitcher prop here, and I'm going to look at Shane Bieber's strikeout total of 4.5. Now, you had mentioned he's coming off a shaky start against the Yankees in his only postseason outing. However, against this current Blue Jays roster, they've gone 25 for 109 against Bieber. Excuse me, against his current Blue Jays roster. They've gone 25 for 109 and struck out 44 times in 109 at bats. That's 52.4% of those outs recorded came by way of strikeouts. That again, I'm sorry, current Mariners roster. It's been a while. I'm a little rusty. By the way, the Mariners, they've struck out the 6th most times in all of baseball this year. And in their last 3 games, Seattle has struck out 45 times, an average of 15 times per game, Andy. Toronto is one of the best contact hitting teams in baseball. Seattle is not. They're one of the worst. So I'm going to go with Shane Bieber over a strikeout total of 4.5.
I like it. Like, it's been pretty entertaining MLB postseason. So, and I've loved these props. These pitcher props have been fantastic. We've been talking about outs. Someone in the chat says take the under on the 14.5 outs. You love the strikeouts. I feel like there's a lot of value in these player props. Let's go to an interesting college football game. UNC versus Cal. So when UNC faces a decent team, they get smoked. You just look at them. There's no close games for North Carolina. They either win big or they lose big. Here's the question. Is Cal a good team? They've lost 2 out of the last 3. If you're telling me they're good, I'm taking the -10. If you're telling me they're not good, I'm taking North Carolina outright. How do you break this game down?
Yeah, I can't consider Cal being a good team when they've committed 8 turnovers in their last 3 games. And you mentioned an interesting game. I beg to differ. I would say if you want to go to sleep early, watch this game. But the only problem with that is it starts at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. So you're not going to miss anything by going to bed early. Let me put it this way. The Cal offense over their last 4 games, averaging just 19 points and 321.8 yards of total offense per contest. And a lot of that goes back to the committing 8 turnovers in their last 3 games, like I alluded to. Hard to sustain offensive drives when you're turning the ball over at that rate. North Carolina, over their last 4 games, have played 3-0-1 to the under with a combined average of 40.3 points scored per game. You mentioned when they step up in class, and basically, I don't know about stepping up in class, but in their 4 games against FBS teams, they're averaging 13.3 points per game and 253 yards of total offense per contest, 31.7% on 3rd downs this year. That's terrible. And they're averaging only 26 minutes in terms of time of possession and scoring only 1 point per 18.7 yards gain per. So those are horrible numbers. And it's hard to put points on the board when you're only averaging 26 minutes of total time of possession, Andy. So I'm going to go with North Carolina and Cal to go under the total of 47.5.
Can't argue with you on that one. There are some gross games this week in college football. They can't all be winners. So, all right. We love doing the hey, you would be proud of me. So while you're gone, I did this line makes no sense, and I got both of them right.
Nice.
About that. So I filled these big shoes nicely. So I love this segment. It's one of my favorites. It's Ross's time to tell us this line makes no sense. What game did you pick, and why does this line make no sense?
Well, I am thoroughly glad that you asked, Andy, because Boise State is hosting UNLV this week. And the Broncos are 4-2. UNLV is 6-0. Yeah, Boise State yesterday was minus 10.5. Now they're up to as much as 11.5 to 12.5. And when you got a 2-loss team, and they're a double-digit favorite against an undefeated team in the second half of the season, I would think most people would think they're getting a steal with the undefeated double-digit underdog. But hold on, my friends. Boise has played a much tougher schedule. Their 2 losses came at the hands of nationally ranked South Florida in their season opener on the road and at Notre Dame. So they're at home tonight against a UNLV team that struggled in their season opener against Idaho State, winning 38-31. Idaho State, by the way, is an FCS team. They won that game with a touchdown in the last minute. And then last week, with under a minute to play, they scored a touchdown to beat Air Force 51-48. The defense in those 2 games I just mentioned, they allowed 584 yards per game. Here's the thing with UNLV, which has sparked them to that 6-0 start. They're +9 in the turnover department. Boise is a +2, and Boise hasn't turned the ball over in 3 of their 6 games this season. UNLV is going to have to do more than depend on turnovers here. I just think this is a sucker play to take the undefeated double-digit underdog. Obviously, the sharp bettors agree with me because we've seen the line movement go up to as much as 2 points in this game on Boise State. So better beware in this situation, Andy.
Great segment. So be careful about laying all those points. All right, Ross, what do you have up? You mentioned, hey, my plays aren't lemons. They're lemonade. What do you have up for? What lemonade do you have up for everyone at WagerTalk?
Very creative, Andy, as always. All right, so I got a baseball play money line winner up for tonight in Major League Baseball, Game 3 of the ALCS between Seattle and Toronto. My Major League Baseball number 2 on the season just relinquished the number 1 spot yesterday, but I'm going to get it back. Nice Major League Baseball run of 103-73, 59% with a net profit of plus 76.30 units. I have an NFL winning total up for the Thursday night game. You can get that right now for $25. My college football and NFL combined on a 25-13 run, 66%. And also all sports, 156-108 since May 13th, 59%, and net profit of 116.69 units. And I think that covers it all. College football, by the way, folks, it'll be a big Saturday. Once again, college football continues to roll number 1 in units earned and win percentage last season on a 15-5 run right now in college football since September 9th of 2023, going all the way back that far, 145-95, 60%, up 112 units. And since 2023 college football season started, number 1 in units earned at WagerTalk in college football. So a lot to like, a lot to take advantage of, folks. We're going to have a huge weekend coming up. Don't forget to jump on board with my Major League Baseball winner tonight. Thursday NFL up right now, and the rest of the weekend will be up within the next 48 hours.
Ross Benjamin, Ross the boss, so glad to have you back in our lives. Take care, my friend. Let's have a big weekend. Ross Benjamin, everyone. God, it's great. God, it's great to have Ross back. So we got a few specials we're running at WagerTalk. Weekend Warrior continues to be one of the highlights of the specials that we've run. You guys have said, hey, we love this special, so we're going to keep running it. Weekend Warrior, you get all the football games for Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. So we have big weekend of football. It's $49. Pick your handicapper that does college and NFL, and then you get all those locked in. Includes 5% releases, only $49. This was a special we were going to do one weekend only, and it was so popular, and it just keeps growing each week. So Weekend Warrior is available this week. We've also got some Flex Pick specials. If you guys like Flex Picks, we talk about these. I think we're the only company that does these, where you can buy a 7-day pass and you can pick your handicapper You get 3 days for 49, 7 days for 69. If you want to do a long term, which we always recommend, trying to do long term, get it. It's not for everybody, but if you're interested in getting picks longer days, we got discounts on 30 and 90 days. You can pick a different handicapper each day. I got a 5% UFC best bet on Saturday, so you want to use it on me on Saturday, great. Then you want to use it on Ross on Sunday, you can do that. You have all the flexibility, so we got some really good discounts on flex picks over at WagerTalk.com. We're going to do all around the world. Allow me to promote my 5% UFC play. We're coming off another big win on Contender Series. It was the last Contender Series of the season. I'm sad I'm going to miss it, but what a way to go out. 3-0 run to end the season. So nice Contender Series end to the season. And this is now, these big plays in UFC and MMA have been hitting. This is 2 5% plays, 4% and a 3% that have hit. So these big plays have been the bright spot of UFC. That play is up right now. I'd jump on board this thing ASAP. I don't think the line is going to move, but the sooner you get it, I tell you it's not going to move against us. It's going to move the other direction. So 5% UFC best bet, that is up right now over at my page, wt.buzz/AL. We're really, really kicking ass in UFC. So let's cash this weekend. All right, Chris, let's do all around the world, give people some free plays. I'm going to go to UFC. Here's a free play. This is kind of a steep price on a guy like Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson is not that good, and this fight isn't going to be super exciting. Orichi Lang is really bad, man. This guy is way past his prime. He gets beat up on the feet. He gets dominated on the mat. And his most recent wins are all against guys that are no longer in the UFC. These guys have been cut. Gibson, he's a competent striker and grappler, and that's really all you need to beat Orichi Lang. He's going to have enough control time on the ground to take at least a couple of rounds, unless Orichi Lang lands something crazy, which he hasn't done in a long time. I think Gibson grinds out a decision win. Orichi Lang was getting his ass kicked against Daniel Marcos and quit. He just stopped fighting. They gave him a reason to quit, and he took it. So I'm fading Orichi Lang. Panthers and Red Wing, let's do a shots on goal. Sam Reinhart over 2.5 shots on goal. He's gone over in all 4 games this season. You got to remember, they got injuries to this Florida Panthers team. There's a lot of shots on goal available, and Reinhart has been taking advantage. He's gone over in 4 out of the last 5 against the Detroit Red Wings, so you can keep riding the streak of Sam Reinhart. And this comes from the WagerTalk free picks page. Chelsea over Nottingham Forest. We like Chelsea just to win. Just win outright. Chelsea, big win against Liverpool. Meanwhile, Forest lost 2-0 at Newcastle. They were outshot 18-5 in that game. Chelsea's got better form, depth. Forest, they tend to get behind, and they just don't have the firepower to catch up. So we're going to take Chelsea to win outright. That's a free play from Ronald Kambang. We got tons of free plays that are up on the Wager Talk free picks page. So if you're looking for some more diverse plays across all sports, highly recommend going to there. Thank you to Ralph Michaels. Thank you to Ross. Thank you to Big Dog for producing today. Chris, shout out to you. Yep. Thank you guys in the chat. Please hit the like button. Leave us a comment below. Tell us what you're betting tonight. Tell us what you're betting this weekend. We got a locked and loaded couple of shows to wrap up the week. Thursday is going to be a nice show. And you guys know, Football Fridays, the views are insane. It was our goal to make Fridays the best football show out there, and I think we've done that. It is a loaded Friday, so make sure you're here to watch us live. If you're not, catch the replay. We're giving out tons of information. We're giving out tons of plays, props, survivor, spreads. I went 3-2 in my mega pick contest, so we're doing well. We're keeping up. We're pretty high on that leaderboard. So thanks very much, guys. That's going to do it for us today. Good luck on all your bets. Let's have a big Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.